2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
Hey, I'm Kat, mom of 3 and founder of Ritual, the company setting a new standard in the supplement industry. When I was pregnant with my first daughter, I remember staring at my prenatal vitamins and thinking, what's in this stuff? All I found were vitamins high in heavy metals, synthetic colorants, and lacking in the very essential nutrients we need. I believe women deserve to know what they are putting in their bodies and why. So at 4 months pregnant, I quit my job to reinvent the prenatal vitamin. We scoured the world for the best quality ingredients, backed by clinical studies and third-party tested for heavy metals and microbes. And this year, we were awarded the Purity Award from the Clean Label Project, the supplement safety certification that tests for 200 harmful chemicals and toxins. With Ritual, you'll know where your ingredients come from and why we use them. Join our family of skeptics with 40% off your first month when you visit ritual.com/podcast.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
What's the deal, Panther fans? It's the C3 Panthers Podcast. There's a ton to talk about. The Panthers have shored up some last-minute restricted free agents, but still no Taylor Moton. We've been clearing cap space, possibly to extend him or use the franchise tag, which teams can actually start doing today. The Panthers are now in the 8th spot in the league when it comes to cap space, and we've got to figure out what they're plotting tonight. And I'm telling you, look, this Teddy Bridgewater burner account story, we're getting to the bottom of it. It's real. And speaking of social media, Shaq Thompson and Teddy Bridgewater have reportedly stopped following the Carolina Panthers on Instagram. We're going to have Jason Hewitt, the Carolina Panthers beat writer from SI, to help us find our way through this social media maze. There's so much to talk about, and that's not even including Albert Breer saying that the Panthers basically called Teddy Bridgewater a bum. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast. Tonight's show is Bridgewater's burner, cuts happen, and deals in the making. My name's Tony Dunn. I appreciate you guys being here. It's the longest running Panthers podcast. I tell you, I couldn't do it without my co-host, Cody Lashney. How are you, my man?
Tony Dunn, I'm doing good, man. And listen, we were making fun of Teddy Bridgewater before it was a popular thing to do, okay? So we are real trendsetters over here on the C3 Podcast. And you know who else is trendsetters? All the badasses we have in our YouTube chat, all the usual suspects, the best Panther fans in all of YouTube, Underground West, Adam Sanders, Richard's Outdoor World, Craig Brown, Trail One, Chuck from Elizabeth City, Brad Dugan, Joey the Blind Panther Esquivel, Sarah Taylor, Tin Tizzy, of course, Tony Dunn, ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
Let's roll. The number's 252-228-5098. Smash the thumbs up button. Give a share to the podcast. It's free. You can find all the information in the show links about how to find the website and this and that. And I tell you, the YouTube channel's been popping this week. Man, we got videos about, are the Panthers truly pursuing Deshaun Watson. We've got Trey Lance versus Justin Fields. We've also got, I talked about the cap clearing space. We're going to get into all that tonight. And we've got our usual suspects here. CK, my man, Code Dizzle, the master of streams. How you doing?
Man, I'm just ready to kind of break down some crazy stuff that happened this week, man. It's been one of the most anticipated shows I think I've had in a few months, to be quite honest. So it's going to be nice to have some stuff to talk about tonight.
I tell you one thing is it feels this is one of the more tabloidish off seasons for me.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
You know,
when's the last time the Panthers have ever been disconnected to a trade of such a high profile player?
Right. But by the way, very well could not happen.
Media mess. This social media mess. It feels so. It's odd. It's an odd feeling. We've got Greg, the Bat Daddy here, the master of all podcasts, man. The man of many podcasts, should I say? How you doing, Greg?
I'm doing all right, man. It's funny you talk about all the media stuff going on with the Deshaun Watson trade, and for all we know, none of it's true. Like we don't know anything about what's going on. It's crazy. We are exactly where I thought we were going to be. Oh, not exactly. Almost exactly where I thought we were going to be at the beginning of last season with Teddy Bridgewater, questioning where he's going to be. I predicted 6 wins. We got 5. I thought we were going to pick 11th. We're picking 8th. So we're right about where I thought we were going to be. I'm just interested to see where we go forward. And I have no idea what's going to happen, No idea.
Yeah, well, you know what? There's a lot of rumors and there's a lot of speculation, but don't worry. We're going to pierce through the noise. We're going to claw through it, and we're going to get you up to date on the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. And let's go ahead and start off with just some easy stuff. The Carolina Panthers did sign or shored up some restricted free agents that were on the roster, right? We're approaching the free agent season. They have this unrestricted free agent list that has 17 people on it. We know names like Curtis Samuel, Taylor Moton, Mike Davis, Rasul Douglas, but there's this smaller list of people that they've been working and operating with. I think that they know these people have less negotiating power because they're restricted free agents. So they got to get deals that matches and this and that. So the Carolina Panthers bring back Brandon Zylstra, a special teamer, wide receiver. You know him from the trick play from Joseph Charlton, the pass. He catches it. That's a wonderful play. Keith Kirkwood is another wide receiver that they brought back. These are 1-year deals. We didn't see much of him. He only had 1 catch for 13 yards and was dealing with a clavicle injury. And I mean, there were some smaller things earlier that happened like last month. I think Joey Sly, we talked about these types of things. So the Panthers do that. And then today or yesterday, another acquisition or the kind of same type of roster move was Trent Scott. The Carolina Panthers have signed to a 1-year deal. Trent Scott, who filled in for Russell Okung at left tackle a lot. I'm pretty happy with here. I have no problems with. I'm very excited about the Trent Scott. It's like bringing him back on 1-year deal, a guy that can play multiple positions. I don't expect us to be counting on him, but we need some bodies back there and some experience and some familiarity. Zylstra, he's been okay. These are small things right here. These are the things the Panthers have to do at this point in the season, don't you think, Cody?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I have been very impressed with our brand new GM. I mean, all the moves that we have seen him make are all moves that I liked. Like I agreed with them. I liked them. I think that we're doing good things. We made a lot of cuts. We've added some players. Again, none of those. I don't know what they do for you. None of those names you mentioned really do much for me. They're just rotational pieces, depth pieces. My thing is moving on from players to try and free up some more cap space. A lot of beat writers and stuff have been talking about how some of these moves have seemed kind of inevitable. K1 Short being one of them. That's something that we've all called for a long time. However, we didn't really see Trey Boston. And yeah, Michael Wade brought that up. Trey Boston with a question mark. I don't really, out of all the names that we kind of floated around to kind of give the axe to. I don't think we would have ruled out Trey Boston, but it definitely wasn't atop of our list either.
Yeah.
So
when we were here last week, who had they released? But last week, by this point, last Tuesday night, we knew about K1 Short, right?
K1 Short. Yeah, we knew about K1
Did we
Short.
talk about that on the last podcast?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did because I mistakenly said that he was the last player from the 2015 Super Bowl team.
No, you said that about Trey Boston, I thought.
No, I said that about K1 Short, but I was wrong because Shaq Thompson.
That's right. All right, so
Shaq Thompson was still on the team.
So
and there's a story connecting him, too.
Since the last show, the cuts went from all expected, very expected releases. Look, is K1 Short's contract was hitting the balloon period, and you can get out of it if you wanted to, and it be financially beneficial. And the Carolina Panthers did that because he's had 2 seasons consecutively where he suffered with injury.
Mm-hmm.
But so we saw that last week, but then the other expected cuts, and these were expected, Stephen Weatherly, Michael Pilardi, and then the surprise was Trey Boston. I was thinking about the Trey Boston, and what I learned a little something about how we should evaluate contracts. And probably I'm a little too lazy to delve that deep into it, but it's a post June 1 cut. So when you just pull up the website and you say, what does it take to cut Trey Boston? It doesn't look like it's going to save you much money. They did the post June 1, which actually helped a little bit more. It gives him an opportunity to go and find another team. In the process, the Carolina Panthers, I think, freed up about close to $20 million with these 3 moves. And then the other news was the restructuring of Matt Paradis's contract freed up another additional $4.7 million or 4.8, something like that. Panthers cleared $25 million, guys, in cap space over the last week since we have been on the show, moving into 8th in the league. And the question is, what are we going to do with that money? I think everybody expected cuts. CK, what do you think about what are the signals? Where are these signals sending us?
What we want to say is the signals are telling us that we're making a push for the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes.
Right.
We're making room for that.
Yeah, that's the social media.
I think the not so sexy thought is that we have a few free agents that we would like to re-sign. I think that Taylor Moton obviously is not going to take up that entire amount, right? We've got to have $7 million, I think, is what we need for the draftees. So we've got that already accounted for. The other pieces that I think that we may be overlooking is Curtis Samuel. I don't think that he is necessarily out of the realm of being somebody we're looking at, is trying to bring back. I know that he is going to be a commodity on the open market. I think there's a lot of teams that are wide receiver, hungry, that are be willing to pay him. So I think that we might also be making a push for that. I mean, you got to think Deshaun Watson is a good chance that he isn't going to be available to us, right? There is obviously we'd like for this chance to be large, and we'd like to see all these moves as us making a push for him. But by all accounts, the Texans are not getting rid of him. The Texans are making an effort to make sure they're saying they're going to go all the way to not letting him go. Now you could take that with a grain of salt, right? There's how many times have people been told that they're not going to be traded, and then the right price comes up and they get traded. So I mean, I think that there's a lot of hope that it's Deshaun Watson, but I think in all reality, I think it's a matter of we're trying to sign the people that are important on our team now, and then we'll see what happens in that sweepstakes.
If I'm Curtis Samuel, I don't even want to be a Carolina Panther unless I know Deshaun Watson's coming here, or unless we know that they're going to secure a quarterback to the draft, which there is no way to know that. But there is.
Yeah.
Well,
even if you got a draft, the only reason would be Deshaun Watson. I don't think a draft pick.
Let me ask you this:
we're
going to get like Trevor Lawrence.
You're in. Oh, sorry. Good.
No. I was going to
say to Cody is just this: is I agree with you 100. Is that Curtis Samuel would not want to be here unless Deshaun Watson was coming. Yeah. I don't even think us saying here we're going to draft a quarterback at 8 is enough to keep him.
And it just depends on how much someone else is willing to pay him too.
The part that I think is we've got to also consider is our organization has pretty much said Teddy Bridgewater is not the answer, right? Mm-hmm. If we sign Curtis Samuel, it isn't going to be a 1-year deal, right? And so you got to look at what the organization thought of Curtis Samuel there at the second half of the season. They realized how important he was to this team, and he became a much bigger part of the offense there that second half of the season. I think that you're going to – I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't want to come back. I mean, I think when you look at the system is built for somebody like Curtis Samuel, and it's built for his success. And he came in, he had his best season of his career under Joe Brady as an offensive coordinator with a mediocre at best quarterback. Wow. I mean, if he has to wait a year to get that level of quarterback that's going to get him to where he wants to be, I mean, listen, if he gets the price for, if he gets an offer from the Green Bay Packers to go up there and play for Aaron Rodgers, yeah, he's going to go up there, right? If he gets an opportunity to go play somewhere else that has an elite quarterback, that is willing to pay him the price that he would like, sure, he's going to go there. But I don't think there's anybody on the market right now in the market for a wide receiver that is going to have an elite quarterback that he's going to want to go play for. Unless you guys can think of one. I can't think of one off the top of the head. I mean, I'm sure there are.
Not off the top of my head, no. But the best thing about this situation is we have to kind of take a step back and look at it. We're 8th in the draft, and we're 8th in cap space. We have the two things that you need to really, really rebuild a team. We have a lot of things in our favor right now. And even if we don't get Deshaun Watson, there's a possibility of a quarterback in the draft. And there's still a lot of free agent quarterbacks out there. Like decent free agent quarterbacks that may not be the answer, but can be the answer for at least a few years. And we have options.
Well, but that
have cap space and draft and the draft position. So
that list is kind of running low now, low now. Free agent quarterbacks, like you're either in on Deshaun or who? Carson Wentz has already been traded. Yeah. Like you're basically talking about Sam Darnold. And again, how much are you giving up? Like you're having to give up.
Dak Prescott.
Well, right. So you'd have to trade him. You would have to trade at least a second or a third round pick to go up and get him. And I've said this, man. Yeah. It is a problem that the Panthers are so thirsty. Like everyone knows that the Panthers need a quarterback. That means every team that we're going to call about trading for a quarterback is going to know that, and they're going to drive up the price. Every team that we're going to try and move up into the draft with is going to know that we're desperate for a quarterback, and probably want to get in front of Atlanta too. So
that argument, I think, is also a bit flawed, right? I get there is a sense of deception, but right now there are so many quarterback hungry teams out there that if we call and make an offer, guess what they're going to do? They're going to call somebody else and say, oh, they're willing to do this, and that other quarterback hungry team. So regardless of our need,
everybody's always thirsty.
Yeah, but what I mean by that is, regardless of what we offer, they're always going to call somebody else and say, hey, the Panthers are offering this. Are you interested in doing more? And so, I don't think it's a matter of we're showing our hand. I think there is some of that, and obviously you'd like to have some of that kind of kept under wraps, but I don't think it's to the point where we have to really concern ourselves with our ability to actually get Deshaun. If we're not going to get Deshaun, it's because another team is willing to outbid us. That's it.
All right. So there's a couple of things I want to mention before we move on. One is you got to wonder if the David Tepper, Matt Rule, all newbies in the NFL game, right? You got to wonder if Cody's right, is if they're learning a lesson the hard way about how to play something in the off season.
Sometimes
is that the news that is leaked so that, what they learned, these guys are learning. And look, it wasn't Fitterer maybe learned right away about when you make a deal and if it doesn't go through, guess what? Your name gets tagged on it.
Yeah.
And then your quarterback finds out about it. and then the people start trolling, right? So you got that one thing. And the other thing I wanted to bring up was that I don't really see the cap space, these clearing of this as anything corollary to Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, if we were somehow able to trade for him, we'd only count $10 million against the cap this year. If you could get Deshaun Watson, you could find a way to get $10 million off the cap. Just call the Saints up. They'll tell you how to do it while taking a nap.
Yeah,
but
the salary cap is a myth.
Hey, let me ask you a question.
It's next year that the Deshaun Watson money hits the $45 million. So it's not like he's got. So the cap money, you got to wonder, are we starting to think about maybe targeting offensive linemen in free agency?
Yeah.
Are you thinking like a Joe? Is that? Yeah, it's like you could go and get a left tackle, and these guys are Thuney. Who's the other guy? There's a couple of them. I mentioned them. You can maybe try to trade for Orlando Brown. You would need some cap space for this. Brandon Scherf. These are top end free agents. Maybe you go and do something like that. But again, we have 17 unrestricted free agents. We're going to need $30 million. Sounds like a lot. And it's cool that we're 8th in the league in cap money when we're usually like 28th. Oh, coincidentally, we're the 8th pick, 8th in cap space, 8th pick. Mm-hmm. But it's not a ton of money, right? It's not like a celebratory amount of money. And on top of that, it's like kind of a shit. I don't know is it a shitty year to have money to spend or not even money to spend? Is that the cap shrank? We could have had more. If the cap would have gone up, we would have been like 55 million. Then we would have talk about landing somebody. But the market contracted at the very moment we're trying to get into it.
Can we talk about the fact that I think that'll also impact the contracts these players get? Right? I think it deflates them. Don't you think, like, at least for the bottom tier at the very minimum, and even towards the top end, there's going to be maybe second tier players who could have gotten squeezed another $1.5 million out or something like that. And then teams are like this. Money fucking tight, bro. You can either
but players are still going to get paid bank though, and knowing what we have to pay, maybe not blockbuster, but none of that money really impresses me right now because I know what we have ahead of us, right? So we're going to have to pay Taylor Moton. It's looking like a sure bet. I'm willing to bet that we're either going to sign him to a new deal, which should be the number one option. I don't even want to do the franchise tag. Sign the man, get it over with, make you a contract that's good for both of you. A quick kick in the can down the road. Sign Taylor Moton. But worst case scenario,
don't you think it would count less against the cap too?
But that's what I'm saying. If you sign them,
it would be 15 million. It would be like 11, and you have to, it's going to catch up with you later.
Yeah, you could backload it. You could put some incentives in there. There's a lot of different things, and that's where we're going to start.
He's healthy.
We're going to start to realize what kind of skills we have in our front office now, depending on how they work these new contracts. Another thing, and it hasn't happened yet, but dude, I wouldn't be surprised before all this is said and done if there is some news regarding Shaq Thompson. Because if you notice a trend, Scott Fitterer is taking an axe to all the bad contracts that Marty Herney signed. And I don't know if this is something to read into or not, but apparently Shaq Thompson unfollowed the Panthers on all the social media accounts too. So maybe him and his agents kind of know that something is in the works.
Maybe they tried to restructure his contract or something.
Either restructure him or made him know that if they're going to trade for any kind of player that they're open to including him in that trade. There's a number of different issues that you can kind of point to, but I really, Tony mentioned it like a podcast ago. Shaq Thompson's dollar amount. He's like the number 2 paid player on our football team, and
crazy.
And he's not. Listen, Shaq Thompson is not terrible, but he is not worth that dollar amount.
He's not elite. He's not elite linebacker is where he should be paid that money.
Especially for a 4-3 outside linebacker who doesn't rush the passer. I mean, I feel that there is something coming down the pike with Shaq Thompson. Either we're kicking him down the road to another team or we're going to restructure him.
Yeah. I saw a Panther Nation podcast in the chat earlier. Shout out to you guys. Oh, and you know what? I need to say this. Happy birthday, Cody.
Oh, appreciate it, man.
Yeah, happy birthday, brother.
We wished you a happy birthday yesterday on Twitter, and I was also watching Panther Nation podcast last night, and they wished you a happy birthday on their podcast. So that's pretty cool. And I wanted to end. It's Rashad, right? Is it Rashad or Rashad?
Yep. Yeah, Rashad.
Rashad from Panther Nation podcast. He knows a ton about the cap. You know, like he knows exactly the amounts of this. I'd be interested to see what he would say about this. If Brad Dugan's theory is right, Panthers asked Shaq to restructure his contract. How is a restructuring bad for a player? And the only thing I can think of is this, is because when they restructure it, you don't get less money. It's never a big cut. Like that's impossible.
Guaranteed.
No, they keep all of that. It's just the timeline they pay you, I believe. And so I guess the idea is that the money's not in your pocket to make money with.
Or so you could make more money in that amount of time.
Like the lottery, right? It's like we give you $50 million over the next 50 years, or we can give you $20 million now. That's my guess, is that the restructuring of the contract basically prolongs the time period to where you actually get your hands on the money, and then therefore limits your ability to invest and do things like that. That's my guess. But I'd like that Rashad, he probably knows exactly what that is. On top of that, look, not only did you mention that Shaq Thompson, look, something is happening with Shaq Thompson, unless we've been deceived by the Twitter police. You know, this could be the Twitter, Instagram police, and they're making a story out of nothing. But I can't believe there's a case where Shaq Thompson doesn't follow the Carolina Panthers on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, I just really can't believe that's the case. And I do believe these, in a social media age, that these types of signals do matter, right? Is that if they don't matter, then just go find a girl on Facebook and list her as you're dating her and see if she thinks it doesn't matter. But there is something to that, or I would think. But also news has come down, or a lot of chatter, that the Teddy Bridgewater has also unfriended, defollowed the Carolina Panthers. Top of that, to inflame the rumors of Deshaun Watson, not only do you have this Teddy Bridgewater unfriending story, but then Albert Breer, he puts up this. And this is, if I can find it, change. Albert Breer, he put out a story and it says this, and the main reason for it, as I have heard it, is that he's very, very clearly shown the physical limitations that limited interest in him as a free agent last year. So the Panthers have come out and saying this, is that they have said that Teddy Bridgewater looks like Teddy Bridgewater.
It pisses me off so bad, dude.
Panthers podcast. Like, we've been saying this, but they didn't. This is not good for Teddy Bridgewater. On top of that, Cody, I hear he's a fake person on Twitter, but still it made the rounds that the 49ers potentially were interested
in.
That makes sense. Let's go from one limited quarterback to another.
Yeah, I even heard I heard the opposite of that.
I heard in Watson, but not.
There's too much. Where there is smoke, there is fire. And Teddy Bridgewater, the Carolina Panthers have called him a bum. Albert Breer reported that they called him a bum. That's what he reported.
I just hate that now it's apparent to everyone.
Yeah.
And this is what pisses me off. And I said this before. Whenever, your scouts, they're not just in charge of looking at college players. They're constantly looking at film of NFL players too, so that way when free agency comes around, when they know that they need a safety, they already have a bunch of safeties that they've been looking about. My thing is this: never at any point in time, watching Teddy Bridgewater's college film, watching his NFL film, has there ever been evidence to believe that, one, he was worth the dollar amount that we paid him, and two, that he was worth a 3-year deal and might be enough to put this team over the edge? Like, that has been David Tepper's fatal flaw so far when buying the team. I think he came in here with the intention was, I'm not going to burn everything down. I'm not just going to fire Ron Rivera. I'm not just going to fire Marty Herney. But in reality, he probably should have. Because if he would have, it might have saved him a year or two of frustration and potentially another year of frustration if we're not able to secure a quarterback through free agency or the draft. The fact that he didn't make those decisions when they mattered most early, like, we could have been ahead of the game on, one, trading Curtis Samuel, which I still maintain we should have done. If he's going to walk away, at least get another pick for him. And then on top of that, to sign Shaq Thompson and Teddy Bridgewater to this crazy amount of money. And, I mean, listen, I know we've thought about this before, but then to throw Christian McCaffrey on top of that, like, Marty Herney was known for overpaying running backs, and that's just what he did before David Tepper kicked him out of the fucking door. It's just so frustrating, man, because all of these things that I just mentioned, they're the biggest roadblocks ahead of us to either getting a Deshaun Watson or getting a quarterback, because we're not as bad as we should be, and we have still a bunch of large unnecessary contracts that are going to bog us down.
We don't really, though. That's the sad part. We got 3.
Well,
there's 3 contracts on this team. That's
we
it.
know one. We know one more
Eddie,
is coming.
It's CMC and it's Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
this is
like
what that Panther Nation podcast says. You only want to restructure guys that you intend to keep around. If you restructure Shaq, his future cap hit increase.
Right.
I guess it spreads it out even longer. I think that's one of the things. It just takes longer to get out of it. Now, if the Panthers were to restructure, you could restructure Christian McCaffrey and Shaq's contract if you did to intend to keep them and free up some more money. And this is what Jason from Over the Cap you reported, is that if they do that, then all of a sudden these guys are saying we want to dip our toe aggressively into free agency. But right now, I don't think with 30, we're just like, where are we? Barely what we can't do anything really. I think we got to get Moten. That's it.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think that restructuring a contract is always a good thing for a player either. And you were trying to think about the negatives of like a player could think of for restructuring. It's if you have a limited number of years you can play. You can only get paid big contracts so many times. So if you've restructured that contract, you've now taken longer before you re-sign your next one for that big payday, if it ever happens, or you may pass that window.
Right.
You know, so that would be a downside. So
yeah, and then you would have to, I guess, make it in a way that the dead money ensured that they would cut you at a certain point. So you could. Yeah. But no, you're right. I think that's a good one. On top of that is this Teddy Bridgewater story. We got a lot. Don't worry. We got Jason Hewitt that's going to be coming on the podcast shortly to give us a lowdown on what's going on with this whole story with Teddy Bridgewater, his cousin, the burner phone. You've seen The Wire. They use burner phones in that.
Now, by the way, it's funny you mentioned that. I just started watching.
My God, you just started?
Yeah, so like that's it. Everybody has a show that like they've never seen and everyone else has. That's the show for me. Yes. I haven't seen The Wire, so I'm trying to binge it.
All right, this is what I want you to think about with The Wire when you watch it.
Okay.
All right, number one, you have to place The Wire in the context of serial dramas that are kind of binge worthy, right? Think about like what we watched today, which is the Netflix show is that they think of what Game of Thrones is, right? It's like the perfect serial show or whatever the right term is. It's got edge. It's got good writing. It's got good acting. It's pushing limits. The Wire did that in like 1999.
Yeah.
It was like 2002.
You can definitely tell it's a product of its time. It's definitely over 2 decades old watching it. But
you have to think it's like the trendsetter for the rest of the television shows, dude.
For HBO especially too, right? Like that's what.
Yeah, to a certain degree, HBO. But I even think about the way shows are written is how it was a trendsetter. All right, so you know how people use the term slow burn like so casually today? It's slow burn, let's stick with it. Well, what that really means is that either the story is slow and sucky, or that they're building these layers, right? They're building a storyline that's longer than what the typical human's attention span. The Wire is this really... It's just in depth, like and you know what it tells me this is that shows are best when they're not about the storyline, when they leave the storyline in the past and it becomes about character development. It's just like character development, because like the story can only be so cool for so long before we lose interest. But you're gonna root for people. You're gonna be like McNulty. You're gonna love McNulty, and when he rolls up there and he'll be like, they'll say this. He'll be like, "Give me a Jameson," and they say, remember this line. This is like my favorite line from the whole show. It won't ruin it for you, but he says, "Let me get a Jameson." And the guy said, "We don't got that. We only got Bushmills." He said, "That Protestant whiskey?" He's like, "Yeah."
You've said that on the show before.
And he's like, I'll take it because I'm a drunk. No, it's great, dude. So good. It's my favorite, my top 3 show, maybe.
Yeah, I'm on like episode 4. So
yeah.
I'm gonna keep on it.
All right, so I want to go this is that because we can only read so much into social media posts, Teddy Bridgewater then unfollowed the Carolina Panthers, supposedly. That's another storyline that's been going through. And people immediately, like we have been making on this show, have made these connections to whatever. And then I saw this tweet right here. This is from Kevin Avery, who is like he's a moderator on one of the biggest Panther groups on Facebook. He's cool. Like he knows the Panthers, but he put up a quote from this guy, Ryan.
He's from 4-Man Rush podcast, right? Panthers
is
podcast.
it? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think that little sig is 4MR.
Okay. All right. So this is a quote from ESPN, Ryan Clark, and it says the reason for Teddy Bridgewater unfollowing his accounts on social media is because him and his longtime girlfriend just broke up, and she recently put her profile on the dating site Christian Mingle. Now,
why would?
Hey, bro,
how are the two connected?
Maybe Teddy's D ain't so B, if you know what I mean, bro.
I was wondering, do you think that how many Christian Mingle profiles do you think Teddy Bridgewater has?
Oh, he probably has he definitely has burners, man. He has burners on Ashley Madison. You probably all those. FarmersOnly.com, shit, whatever, man. He drives a minivan. I wouldn't.
Because his ex-girl's on Christian Mingle, so he's got like 7 Christian Mingle
trying
accounts.
to find her.
He's probably trying to see. He probably already knows. He probably got fake dates set up.
But am I missing something though? Like, how is his girlfriend being on a Christian Mingle site? What does that have to do with him? All of his social media accounts. I just don't see the connection. Like,
how about this? Is that imagine how he feel if you see your girl on Christian Mingle and you get shook like that. Imagine what happens when he sees the Carolina Panthers say he can't throw the ball far enough.
Bro,
he's heard that for a long time. He don't care.
Bro, I'm gonna be real right now. it has to be a rough time to be Teddy Bridgewater. Your girlfriend, your girlfriend broke up with you. The Panther fans fucking can't stand you. The team is actively trying to offload your ass, bro.
Even Big Cat turned on you,
And
bro.
then you check his bank account, and he's like, "Oh, it's all good."
Bro,
Big Cat's been active asking for his money back. I feel like
Big Cat don't got 5 on it no more. Hey, real quick before we go forward, 90 people watching the show, 39 thumbs up. You know you can do better than that. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button, hit the bell to get notified whenever we go live. Tony's been uploading these awesome one-off videos that have been fantastic, by the way, Tony. Very informative on a lot of things going on in Panther Nation. Yeah, hit the subscribe button, man. Share the Panther content. That's what we do, man.
Josh Hoy says Cam slamming Teddy's old gal.
Oh, I don't want to. All right, you know what I want to go to? I want to go to a cat call. Let's go to a cat call and see where
Let's do it. Let's talk to the people.
Actually, hold on. You carry it while I find the cat call. I didn't load it up.
Listen, we all should have known this when I showed you that Teddy Bridgewater trying to hit a softball, man. like that guy doesn't know how to use his hips. You know, which maybe that's why he's kind of single right now. I don't know. I don't want to say nothing too much. I don't want to go at him too much. But yeah, I mean, this Deshaun Watson thing is crazy, man. Like, there's a part of me that even still doesn't want to get too excited about it because it's like,
why would you?
You have to understand. I'm a Clemson fan. Deshaun
I get
Watson,
that, but you really can't believe it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, what I know is that the Panthers want him. The Panthers are desperate. The Panthers are butt naked, throwing themselves at Deshaun Watson. Okay.
All right. Let me cue this call up. Jason Hewitt's in the hole. We're going to go that. We're going to find out how real a lot of this chatter is. Let's go ahead and go to this call.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
You have to highlight Brad's most recent comment.
Banner of an Elgin. A while back, before the free agency carousel started, I called and mentioned, like, yeah, we should seek a veteran. But I kind of don't know how I feel about that now. I know the Panthers made moves today. I saw they cut Pilardi, Trey Boston, some other guys as well. And even apparently Deshaun Watson's not following the Panthers on social media right now. So all these moves are happening. But I just want to say, I'm a little nervous about the thought of the Panthers, I guess, basically having to marry a new quarterback. You know, if it's Deshaun, they're going to have to put a lot in. Like, I really feel like the Panthers maybe need to kind of be single for a while and not find themselves before, you know, they go all in and split all their assets going into a long-term marriage with some other quarterback out there. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like they're selling the farm to get Deshaun, which if we get Watson and he's able to, you know, make our dreams come true, that'd be great. I would love to watch that dude play and be the Panthers quarterback. But if it means that we basically starved ourselves with draft picks for the next 5 years, I don't know. I'm getting cold feet about this thought of, you know, the Panthers just marrying into a veteran quarterback. Anyway, that's just how I feel.
Thoughts real quick, Cody? Tell him how he's. What I would say is this: as someone who has been married for 15 years this year, been with my wife, we dated, we're like kind of sweethearts, you know. So it's been a long time. Being married to somebody and knowing how tomorrow is going to go ain't a bad thing. Mm-hmm. So if we were married to Deshaun Watson, I'd be like this. I tell you this: I don't care who's playing defensive end next year. I don't care who's playing damn running back. I'm gonna be like excited on Sunday. Guess what we're gonna be like if Teddy Bridgewater is quarterback? We're gonna be like, oh god.
Well, my thing is this, Tony. I'll never forget it, man. This might as well be written in C3 Panthers lore, podcast lore. When you came over to my house that one day, it was before the first game of the season. The Panthers were playing the Rams. I said, Tony, how are you feeling? What's gonna happen? And you said, because we have Cam, I still feel like we have a chance to win. And I'm telling you, if Deshaun is here, that feeling comes back to us. That feeling comes back to us. We are always in the game. Now, to be fair and kind of play devil's advocate, I do understand some of the trepidation people are having because their mindset is, well, Deshaun was on a team that didn't have any draft capital, that couldn't put a lot of talent on the football team to help him out. If we went and traded away and mortgaged our future for Deshaun, then wouldn't that be doing the same thing for the Carolina Panthers and just putting him in a similar situation? And I do think that there is some credence to that. I don't think it has to be that bad where you're, giving away all your ability to put a team around him. But I get why people are, kind of hesitant, and I feel like it's that reason. They don't want to have Deshaun essentially be another Cam Newton, where he's having to always elevate the level of the talent of the playmakers around him. So I get it.
Yeah, there is something to that. And then at the same time like you said, time goes by fast. You sign a free agent here or there. You add to the draft here or there in the back, second, third rounds. Man, all of a sudden you're young and cooking with Deshaun Watson. That'd be interesting. All right. So we were talking about Teddy Bridgewater gaining news about the Panthers being upset with him. Not upset, dissatisfied with his capabilities. We talked about how you saw Shaq Thompson and Teddy Bridgewater unfollow these guys on social media. Then I saw this on Twitter. It's from my man Kuntz. And you want to know at Kuntz on Twitter, if you want to know what the word on the Twitter street is, this is the guy to follow. I ain't gonna lie. It's like, this is kind of, I look up, I got a couple of people when I don't know what's going on and the kids are talking, I look this guy's up. And all of a sudden I see this that says his burner is back. His burner is back. Teddy Bridgewater starts messaging potentially under this name, ED Myth 2, saying things like, that's female shh. Now, we've kind of heard some of that stuff, but still, Teddy Bridgewater's unhappy, and the Carolina Panthers are unhappy with his play. We've got Jason Hewitt from SI.com, Carolina Panthers beat writer. Welcome back to the podcast, a longtime friend. He's muted.
No idea. You might be muted.
Nope, it's not muted. It's those cool headphones he's got on. That's what
I mess this up every single time, man. What's up, y'all?
Yeah, there he is.
Hey, it's good. It's good to be back with y'all boys, man. How y'all doing?
Good to hang with you again, brother. We're excited, man.
Hey, same here. It should be a hell of a show. Here we are.
Hell yeah, brother.
You've been busy this week.
It's been a pretty busy week for your boy. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Why? Why you been so busy? What's been going on with the Carolina Panthers?
Man, throw me into the fire, man. All right,
bro,
so basically, let me get my receipts.
Why would you be busy? Like,
I made, how I am on Twitter. The whole situation with I guess Teddy Bridgewater and him unfollowing his teammates. I've cracked a joke because, it's easy to crack jokes on Teddy Bridgewater these days. And this weird account, started talking trash to me. And I was like, wait a second, what in the world? So, here I am on Twitter, normal day, the typical, day-to-day stuff. And hold on, I'm trying to pull up the receipts now because I don't want to, give y'all any false information. Y'all my boys.
You don't want to talk out of turn. I feel you.
Yeah, so basically, I get this weird quote tweet from that account you just mentioned saying you a straight up clown, Jason. You don't know nothing about the Panthers inside. And I was just like, what up? Wait a second. Dude, I don't even know you. But then, I I started looking deeper into the account, and it just so happens that that account follows the Miami Heat and follows all of these accounts that show QB1, quote unquote, a lot of love. Like I see tweets like a lot of hate from Panthers fans. Teddy had 3 1,000-yard receivers and a below average offensive line. Like, these are stuff that account likes. So I was like, okay, that's a little interesting. Also noticed that the account showed a lot of love to Teddy winning the Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award. So, that's pretty cool. And so I start playing with the account a little bit. I said what I said, kind of making some accusations about, a certain burner.
Y'all are so damn Twitter smart.
Hey, you gotta be
detective, man. Jason went deep on this, man.
Hey, man, I've been a journalist for darn near 5 years now.
Let me tell you this: if you can find a tweet on someone's timeline in the last 90 days that said something good about Teddy Bridgewater, that's just,
yeah,
that too.
Even the greatest supporters of Teddy Bridgewater have
they're not loud.
Shit.
Mm-hmm. That is very,
they have
very
abandoned ship. So, I haven't even seen a retweet of anything positive about Teddy Bridgewater since November.
Yeah,
I haven't even seen the Panthers try to do a highlight reel of him. That's what
I noticed that too.
They haven't even mentioned him in their whole offseason. Not one.
Yeah.
Well,
it reminds you a lot of last offseason with Cam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is true.
Only dumped on him.
True. So I keep playing with the account or whatever. And then, I made the accusations that I made, got in a little bit of trouble with that. But, it is what it is. But right before that, I got
What kind of trouble did you get in?
Well, it wasn't necessarily trouble.
On that?
Yeah, I can say
advice. What kind of advice did you get?
Well, basically, it wasn't really trouble, but my bosses were just like, "Hey, man, you can't be making accusations like that. Even though it's y'all know the vibes."
Even though it's definitely true that it's him.
I'm gonna let y'all speak for me on that one. All right, y'all can say whatever y'all want.
You ain't gotta say it, bro. Teddy Bridgewater was in your DMs talking shit to you.
Well, it was crazy. No, go ahead.
I've been here since 2012, bro. I've been here since 2012 on Twitter doing the thing, and I ain't ever had anybody call attention to anything I said. How do you get called? You know what I'm saying? That would be Cody. Why hasn't someone called me up, sent me an email saying, Cody Lashney, this guy, can you please temper his position on this bum? Because they could have sent that email to me in September, and I would have said, Cody, how you feel about this email? No, for real. How was attention called to any of this interaction in the first place?
Well, that's a good question for Jason, man. Jason, what do you listen, everybody, look, you're on Twitter all the time, just like me, bro. You see all the oodles of shit that gets talked about Teddy Bridgewater on Twitter. What is it that really set him off, do you think, or allegedly set him off, to start doing this now?
Ed Smith off.
I'll just say the account. So the account, I feel like the account. I feel like the account came at me because I'm a humble guy, but I also know who I am and what kind of information I provide to Panthers fans in general. People care about what I have to say. That's just real talk. So I feel like the account saw what I had to say and noticed that it gained a lot of traction, and the account had some problems with it. And I don't know what's going on with whoever running it. Y'all already know the vibes, but it seems like that account really doesn't have that much to do these days other than being sad or whatever, which is understandable. But
tell me
who brought this to the attention of the world? That's what I want to know.
I guess just the fact that it got a bunch of retweets and stuff that people saw it, because all you have to do is type in.
And your boss just said, I saw this tweet that you guys that was really popular, and you might want to turn it back. Or was there?
That's basically. That's basically what happened. It wasn't like when I say trouble, I don't really mean trouble. Like everything was super cool.
No, like I always thought that Carolina Panthers reached out and were like, "Hey," I want them to reach out to me and they'll be like, "Hey, will you stop talking so much junk about Taylor?"
No, it wasn't even that.
I'll be like this. I'll be like, "Well, why don't you draft a quarterback, motherfuckers?" That would be my response.
No, but your response should be is if you're going to tell us what to say, why don't you fucking pay us to say some different shit?
There you go.
Yeah, but like that's not what really got like their attention. What got their attention was when I straight up said that the account was QB1. That and I aired that out there. That's when everyone retweeted and was like, "Oh!" And then everyone else did their own investigations and kind of.
You know, I got trouble. I got trouble once. I've been in trouble a couple times in the Panther world. I got blocked. I got blocked by Derek Anderson.
Wow.
This was fun because I wrote a story and the title of it was something like Derek Anderson calls bitch cop or something. Like, because that's what he said. Like he tweeted, he was like, these bitch ass cops. And he got a ticket for his tent, and he and I wrote the story with that headline. He unblocked me on that. But one time I got talking junk about, we have favorites, we have player favorites, and we have players that aren't our favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody loved Mike Tolbert back in the day. They loved him, and for the first year or so, he was awesome for Panthers. But I tell you this, that big dancing ass bear could not get one on a short yardage. Like he was the worst short yardage big fucker in the world. And I kept saying this on on Twitter and on the podcast, and his mom came at me.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mama Tolbert was like, you need to come. All right, yes, mom. Yes, man.
Hey, that's mama, man. Ain't too much
but that motherfucker, he could not get. I'll be like this. He needed like 7 yards. If he got 7 yards, he was like the damn bus. But if you need him to get an inch, he couldn't. He couldn't get that steam. Chugga 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 choo choo. But Teddy Bridgewater, do you think? His girlfriend and him split up according to this.
Don't do this, man. Don't do that.
Hey, man, it's in the news,
we've
bro.
already done it, too.
Yeah, we've already done it, bro. You can't
I was just wondering, is how many what do they call the people that don't got a picture on Twitter? Eggheads or whatever?
Egg accounts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder how many egg accounts have hit on her on christianmangle.com.
Oh, man.
Not very Christian of them.
Hey, man.
The Carolina.
We told you it was going to be spicy, bro.
Hey, it's going to be. Hey, I'm here for it. I already know
that's what it is, man. We talk about everything here, man. But I think also the reason why we don't mind going in on Teddy so much is because, look, there was a real air of pompous around Teddy in his press conferences at the end of the season, not taking accountability for missing DJ Moore in the back of the end zone, saying that he's done enough. The account said that he had 3,000-yard receivers, but none of them had over 5 touchdowns. Like that should say everything. And the fact that he still has this air of entitlement, like Teddy Bridgewater feels that he's entitled to something from the Panthers and that he was entitled to our fandom and all this other shit. And his actions have made it where Panther fans on Twitter and Panther podcasts everywhere are like, nah, bro, this ain't it. Like, it's fair game for us to talk whatever kind of shit about the man because his actions are kind of deserving of them, I think.
Hey, man. When it comes to personal stuff and what he going through, that's on him. That's his business, man. It's already tough for
Don't feel sorry for. Look,
hey, I'm not feeling sorry for him. Think of who this is. Think of my week.
I know Twitter and the social medias were hard, right? And we're okay being hard on Teddy on this podcast because we were doing it from the beginning. So it wasn't all of a sudden
like, oh my God, now Teddy, he won this game, and we were like, oh, Teddy's the answer. No, is that from the very beginning, nobody really thought it was a good move, period. So we get to be catalyst of that. On top of that is that when you get $60 million, I mean, you could either trade places. You can sit in my seat right here where you get $1.25 for doing this damn stream, and nobody talks shit about you on the internet, or you can get $60 million and they can talk shit about you on the internet. My question to you is, what has been strange this offseason, the Carolina Panthers have talked shit about Teddy Bridgewater. And this is kind of a bizarre, it's been so awkwardly blunt from the beginning. We were prepared for it because we were not fans. You know, none of us, this is what we've been saying. But Matt Rule comes out at the end of the season and says Teddy needs to have a tremendous offseason. I think great players play down the stretch. They figure out how to deal with injuries. He didn't do that. Right? I mean, like, comes out and says this. Then on top of that, David Tepper goes and says, until they ask him, what's your future of the quarterback? He says, until you feel like you got the guy, you're always looking for the guy. And we're looking for the guy is what he says. And then more comes out. Matt Rule at the Senior Bowls asked about the qualities of a quarterback that he would see as elite and as a franchise quarterback. He lists all these qualities, and they're opposite of Teddy Bridgewater, like the opposite of what Teddy Bridgewater does. And then we have this Albert Breer report that now says that the Panthers have just said, look, he's got physical limitations, which Cody has been saying for the beginning. It's just not, he don't got it. You don't have it's not about, sometimes it's not about reading, like, I can read the book, I can do all this, I just can't dunk the goal. Right?
I always said that he plays scared. I even think there were.
He don't have enough arm, even if he wasn't scared. That's the thing. Is like,
I even disagree with that, though. That's why it infuriates me.
He don't got it.
I think there were
lasers, bro. And in the NFL, you are either the top of the top,
yes,
or you're not.
I agree.
That's what the whole point of the NFL is. It's the top 2%, and he just crept in right now because he knows how to call plays. He knows how to do this. He don't have the physical ability that sets him apart for elite talent, period. And I'm not even just talking about quarterback. I'm just talking about, like, he should be in the XFL.
Well, and like, my thing is that he does not, if he can't make it or doesn't trust his arm, like, he has seen receivers wide open down the field and has still chosen a 3-yard check down. And I mean, it's stuff like that. You know, now you see all the reports from all the different websites saying that David Tepper is determined to find a franchise quarterback. And I'm happy that at least they've gotten to that point. You know, I just think there's a possibility it could be too little too late. But I don't know. I think at some point we really have to kind of realistically talk what we would be willing to give up for Deshaun Watson. Because even as we're here talking, Tony Pauline or something from, I think, Monday Morning Quarterback has said that David Tepper is willing to give up whatever it takes to get Deshaun Watson. And I don't know about y'all, but I mean, listen, as someone who is a diehard Deshaun Watson fan, like, man, it's going to be tough if we have to give up Brian Burns. Like, specifically Brian Burns to me, because I think it's so hard to find an elite level pass rusher. And I think that we do have that in Brian Burns, and he's not anywhere near what he's going to be down the road. But, man, not having a premier pass rusher, you know, we would hate to have an incredible offense, but then a defense that's lacking because we traded away every player that we have. So it's going to be an interesting conversation going forward as to, you know, what is a reasonable amount to give up for Deshaun.
For me, how this is handled and what happens in the next few months is going to solidify my thoughts on what I feel about this Tepper Rule regime, or it's going to change my thinking. So for me, everybody looks at Teddy Bridgewater and the signing and they're like, oh, Teddy sucks and this and that now after the fact. But nobody blames the people who put him in that place. Like, nobody ever says anything about the guys who decided this was the guy we're going to give this money to. I know Hurney was the GM, but he wasn't the only part of that. So I'm interested to see what they do with this future step, whether we get Watson or we get a quarterback, or if we just completely swing and miss and don't do either. or we just bust on whatever we do, it's going to really, really, for me, I think people are going to start talking about this Tepper and Rule regime failing right off the bat. In that case, I think they're getting a little bit of leeway for being the beginning of their regime, but nobody's talking about the people who put Teddy Bridgewater there. They're just talking about Teddy Bridgewater, which, don't get me wrong, I've been talking about Teddy Bridgewater the whole time. I have no problem about Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, we are.
It's very simple. Very, very simple. But, there's more to it than just him. Somebody put him there.
Jason, let me pose a question to you.
What's up, man?
As someone that follows this team, let me ask you this. I don't think we've even gotten your opinion on this. It's been so long since we talked to you. What do you feel about Deshaun Watson potentially being a Carolina Panther? And I guess the second part to that question is there a too much in terms of what the Panthers might be willing to give up for Deshaun?
Okay, so to answer the first part of your question, Deshaun Watson is my number one free agency target. The number one, straight up. I'm just going to tell y'all this right now. That man is top 3 in this league at the quarterback position. Top 3 easily. If he even had like a sliver of defense on that team, I'm not saying that they would immediately go to the playoffs, but the Texans would look pretty doggone all right. And knowing the talent that the Panthers have, like, why not go after him? They have the means to go get him. So shoot, go get it. And like, I'm kind of looking at it from the perspective of David Tepper. Like his first couple of years, he had Cam here, but the thing with that is he didn't get Cam. Do y'all know what I mean?
Yeah,
he got a debilitated Cam, which sucks, but that's the business, and that's why he moved on from him in the first place. And so now him as well as Marty Hurney went after Teddy Bridgewater, and that ship might darn near be sailed now. But like, it's like he's probably tired, man. He's probably tired of mid quarterbacks. The man is tired. I'm tired of watching.
We're all tired, man. We're all tired.
So if you have the means to go get him, then go get him. Which leads to the second part of your question.
Right.
And look, man, I love Brian Burns. Dude.
But you're saying
whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Okay, and I can't even say you're wrong.
Hey, but part of negotiation is that you don't necessarily have to throw him out there first. Unless they specifically ask for him, I'm not putting him in an offer. Are you kidding me?
No.
If they ask for him, I feel like it would be a different story. And to be honest, I feel like they're going to ask for him, especially considering that, J.J. Watt's gone, and I feel like their pass rush is pretty lackluster as of right now. Mm-hmm. So they might ask for him, and Panthers fans, I want y'all to be ready because David Tepper is not going to just look away and be like, nah, like we got to keep our guys. He is tired. I guarantee y'all he is tired of watching mediocre quarterback play. I feel like all the fans are as well. So I have the position where it's just like I'm not going to make that offer. But if they ask for Brian Burns honestly, he's the only guy I would feel like kind of questionable on. Like McCaffrey, like from the beginning, I was like, look, if they want McCaffrey, man, like y'all can have him. Especially knowing that running backs don't have as much value as quarterback in today's league.
Right.
It's just like whatever it takes, man, whatever it takes.
And, that's part of the reason I'm kind of thinking, and anyone jump in if you think I'm wrong, that Christian McCaffrey's trade value might not be as good as we think it is. Because how many other people are willing to take on? I mean, granted, I know we're going to have to pay him $17 million no matter what. If we trade him or not, we have to pay him.
That's why he might be good trade bait and bad for us to trade though.
Not
beneficial because we have to if we trade him this year. And I asked because I saw Bill Voth tweet this, and I wanted to know why this was. He said if we traded Christian McCaffrey, the Carolina Panthers have to take on $14 million against the cap. And I asked, I said, well, like, why doesn't the other team just have to take everything? Well, the guaranteed money, they don't take the guaranteed money.
Mm-hmm.
The guaranteed money is given by the team that signed the deal, and it's prorated because while they're on the team, but once they are off the team, it's no longer prorated. Like you gotta pay it. So if we were to trade Christian McCaffrey, the other team would get a player, but they wouldn't get that $14 million. They would just get his salary.
So can I ask this to everybody?
What's up, man?
Who is out of all the players on our team, who are the most valuable assets we have?
McCaffrey and Burns. Oh, my bad.
What about
So
Jim?
I mean, yeah. So, but that's another thing. Like, if David Tepper is saying he's willing to give up anything, does that mean even our first year guys that look pretty good, like are Brian Burns and Jeremy Chin, also considered a part of this? Anything goes, and that's kind of you weren't here, Tony, when I asked this, but I was asking the guys like, how much is too much for Deshaun? What if we traded for Deshaun, what makes you say, oh man, we gave up way too much?
There's only two players on the team that I feel that way, and they're both on the defense. Maybe three, and they're all on the defenses. Brown, Chin, and Burns. Brown being because we have so long on his contract, and you drafted him to be something that he is. Jeremy Chin is this. But here, isn't it kind of insane if you said this? If you picked a team in the league and you said, what are the things that you would not give up? And we're really down to two players, maybe three. Isn't that wild that there's only three players? And maybe, I wouldn't – would you say DJ Moore's off the table? No. But I don't think that's – that's insane, isn't it? That there are so few assets on your team that I've been like, I'll take it. Like, will we be that much different?
Well, go ahead.
When it comes to Burns, Chin, Brown, and McCaffrey, those four right there, I think those are the four top guys you're going to get. I'm willing to give up almost anything, and I'm willing to give up any of those players, but I'm not giving up more than two of those players together in one draft. They're not getting that's just too much to give up. If we got to keep at least two of those four players, I don't care what combination of them you take.
What if they said they want DJ? What if they say they want DJ and Burns?
DJ Moore and Burns, take them.
Yes.
But that's the thing.
Yes.
But here's the deal. Okay, if you're David Tepper and Scott Fitter and even Joe Brady and Matt Rule, like part of the allure to bring Deshaun Watson here has to be because of the receivers that we have, right? Like, listen, I want you guys to remember something.
Nah, you can replace those mugs so easily.
I mean, listen, ultimately,
Godwin's going to be a free agent.
I hear you, and ultimately, Tony, I do agree, and I've said on the podcast that running back and receiver, you can find a bunch of great talent even in the later rounds of the draft. So ultimately, I don't disagree with you. But I want you guys to remember something. Nobody thought or even mentioned DeAndre Hopkins as one of the best wide receivers in the NFL until 2017, when Deshaun Watson was throwing him the football. He made plays before, but no one gave DeAndre Hopkins the real credit as a number one receiver until he had a dog throwing him the football.
I remember distinctly him having an entire conversation about how he wanted to be paid before his rookie contract was up because he was balling out with shit quarterbacks. Like he's been top five since his first year in the NFL.
But you're making my point though. He was doing it incredible, but at the end of the day, his numbers had to overcome quarterbacks that weren't up to par. And by the way, and this is the parallel that I'm making here, I'm telling you guys that DJ Moore has a similar trajectory. DJ Moore has gotten better every single year for the Carolina Panthers. I used to drag him over hot coals about not separating well at the top of his drop or at the top of his routes. And he has really gotten better at that. He has put in time and effort. And this is the second year in a row now that my man is at 1,000 yards. What if we have a true superstar receiver on our team, the heir apparent to Steve Smith, like Steve Smith wanted him to be on draft night? What if Deshaun Watson just brings out the inner superstar of everyone on our offense? Like, I think that if we're going to trade, you have to think that we have such a dynamic receiving core now that Deshaun Watson could make that trio of DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, and Robbie Anderson. Dude, that could be
That's
lethal,
why
man.
That's why I don't think that Deshaun Watson would be scared away if you traded him to the Panthers, and all of a sudden Curtis Samuel was lost to free agency, DJ Moore was part of the trade, and Robbie Anderson, one of the two was part of the trade. I think it's because you know that you could get. We saw what Cam Newton did with bums in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He was just average people. So imagine if you knew, you've learned from that lesson, you make this, you get Deshaun Watson, and then you sign somebody in free agency that's pretty good for not too much, and then you go and get a receiver in the second round. All of a sudden, these mugs can cook. You know what I'm saying? Like I would, you know what? I'd rather have a cook in the kitchen than a bunch of food when nobody knows how to do anything with it.
Shout out Moneybags Lawson. He said, y'all remember Devin Funchess and Benjamin, right? Like at one point in time, they were supposed to be the ones that were gonna cook. And you know, so it's like, you know, you really
like
do
Cam made look, you can find receivers in this league that can play.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? You really can. And I'm not saying that you can just find the next DJ Moore or something like that. But I don't think he's like irreplaceable. I don't think even for me, for somebody who like my favorite is Robbie Anderson. Like I think Robbie Anderson just balled out last year. Like he did stuff that's not even in his comfort zone. And Mug is still doing it. Like he plays. He's a player. But like, if he was gone on the Panthers, and then we just had to go and we had to find somebody else, and we had Deshaun Watson, I'd be like, all right, we can do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, look at what Cam had to deal with in New England. Like,
yeah, that
same more out of that than it is to make something out of great receivers and a bum ass quarterback.
But doesn't that also prove the point, though? Like we say, it's easy to find receivers. Well, we didn't have a receiver except for 1 year with Kelvin Benjamin, thanks to, you know, Cam Newton making him look like he's a freaking superstar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that was ever since. See, this is the first time we've had a receiver that we can consider to be like our go-to receiver that we want to have back every single year.
Who is it?
DJ Moore.
Really?
Yes.
See, that's the thing that's why I'm not so crazy about it, because like, yeah, he's been very good, but like, I feel like he and Robbie Anderson in the same season.
No, not at all.
Nah,
Robbie Anderson had a good 3 first games, and then after that, it was just again the dink and dunk.
Robbie Anderson didn't just get the touchdowns because why? Is it his fault? I don't know. Like
it's not DJ Moore's fault either. That he looked like a better receiver.
Look it up. Somebody look it up.
I'm looking it up.
I am too.
Look up what. And I know DJ had more touchdowns, right? And the question is DJ great in space and stuff like that? But what if you kept Curtis Samuel then?
Well, that's another thing. Like,
is Curtis Samuel and Robbie Anderson duo much different than DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson?
Okay.
I prefer DJ and
yeah, not what you okay.
DJ and Curtis Samuel.
What together? DJ. That's it.
I consider DJ, or I consider DJ a number 1. I consider Robbie Anderson a number 2. You know, in my personal opinion of what I've seen with Robbie Anderson this year, I don't think he's bad, but I think he's a number 2 wide receiver. I think Curtis Samuel is a number 2 wide receiver.
Do you think DJ is true? And I'm going to ask Jason this. I'm just going to ask you a hard question, Jason.
Hey, let's go.
Do you think that DJ Moore has number 1 numbers, or is a number 1 with number 1 numbers? And what I mean by that is, like, I look at, you can find numbers, lots of catches, lots of yards, but is he in the same conversation as Julio, DeAndre, Tyreek Hill? Like, is he really? So I wonder, are the numbers truly indicative that he's a number 1, or does he just kind of have number 1 numbers?
Well,
you see, sorry, my bad. No, you go ahead. He was asking you that question.
Well, you know, it's levels to being look, you can be a wide receiver 1 and not be like the cream of the crop. The guys you just named, that's the cream of the crop. That's the best of the best. You can still be a number one receiver.
Amari, we could put up Amari.
I would think Amari.
I think he's on that level. Yeah, I feel like. Let me think. What would be a good comparison? I would say like.
Ain't no Diggs. Oh, I forgot Diggs. Forgot Stephon Diggs. I forgot.
Okay, he's not. Those are cream of the crop guys, though.
There's like 10 people. I could maybe not 10. There's like 7 guys, I would say, that just their name alone strikes more fear and excitement.
By the way, and Tony, what you're saying right now is why I mentioned DeAndre Hopkins, because DJ is never going to be mentioned in that category until he has a franchise quarterback throwing the football at him.
Exactly.
I get it.
We saw what happened to Steve Smith. Steve Smith was amazing with Delhomme. Delhomme falls off. We got those 3 years. Everybody thought Steve Smith was done. You put in Cam. All of a sudden, they took Steve Smith off the shelf. And for 3 years, he was golden.
And by the way,
so you truly believe that? So you truly believe?
Yes, 100%.
Golden. Well, so then, is he not the most enticing trade bait then?
Well, but let me. So this is one. This is one set of numbers that I want to point out. He had the least amount of receptions on the team compared to the other 2 guys, Robbie Anderson and Curtis Samuel.
Okay,
and he still, he only had 66, and still had the most touchdowns out of any of the receivers, and had the most. And had the most yards at 1,193.
Right, but that 1,193 is only 97 more than Robbie Anderson had. He did it on less catches, which means he had a better average, which is better. You're right, and he only had 1 more touchdown. So it's not like the difference between 3 and 4 touchdowns is that huge. So Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore had basically the exact same year.
No,
DJ Moore just did it with a lot less passes.
Hey, I agree.
How many?
Imagine getting him the ball more.
About 30 less. About 30 less. Robbie Anderson had 95. DJ Moore had 66.
That is a lot less.
It's a lot less, but I'm saying that the production was the same. So what does it matter if the production?
They were making Robbie part of the game.
They weren't like DJ Moore was wide open down the field, and Teddy Bridgewater would refuse to throw the ball
a number of times.
A number of times. I'm not taking that away.
There was around
Robbie open downfield. There was no DJ Moore next year. We go and get a wide receiver, and we pair him with the Robbie Anderson. We can't get Robbie free. You know,
but this is the thing, guys. Like, we're not done filling out the holes on our defense, and then to now say, okay, all right, well, we're going to trade away DJ Moore. Like, I'm telling you, you guys are going to miss DJ Moore.
Oh yeah,
DJ Moore is not on the team.
You're trying to ask me, like, you're really trying to ask me about questions about this trade, and you ask me who's off limits, who's not off limits, this and that. And right now, I'm saying this. I think this, and mark me down for this. It's easier to replace DJ Moore than it is to replace Brian Burns.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
And that's my point. You know, is that I don't know what, and I don't think we have to really even be talking about players so much when it comes to the Texans a deal. Number one, I don't think we're primed to land Deshaun Watson. I just don't. I don't think we have the assets. I don't think it's about cap money. I don't think it's about talent on the team you got, really. Maybe partially, but it's really about draft assets.
For the Texans,
it's not working. How can the Texans? Can you give them that entices them to give away the prize, which is an elite quarterback, with the opportunity of a complete rebuild faster than they could ever do before? And so, right now, the Miami Dolphins have 2 first-round picks. The Jets have 2 first-round picks. I know the Jets have more cap money than we do, right? So they could trade away picks and still not give up as much because then they can maybe get some free agents. They can do some different things. The Carolina Panthers don't have the most enticing pick at 8. That's the thing is the Miami Dolphins have a third and Tua they could offer. The Jets have second and the 23rd they can offer. Despite how many first round picks the Carolina Panthers can offer for the next decade, you can do a lot more with picks clumped together if you're the Texans. And that's why I don't think the Panthers are in the front running for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, it's not just about that though, right? Because Deshaun has to pick where he wants to go. If he doesn't, if they say they want to send him to the Jets and he doesn't want to go to the Jets, then he doesn't waive his no trade clause. So he can hold them hostage. So do you want to take the like if just say for instance Carolina's where he wants to go, he says I'm not going anywhere else. Are you going to not trade to Carolina because you're only getting the 8th pick and whatever we're offering, or are you going to let him sit out for the season until
Why the hell would you say that?
I'm not saying he will, but I'm just saying he's from here. I mean, Clemson, Carolina. He's familiar with Carolina. So he has reason to come here. He has reason to come here. I mean,
last year. What? I think there's one thing going for the Carolina Panthers and the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. We're in the NFC.
Yeah, but that's probably
the Jets and the Dolphins both AFC teams. So the road for the Texans would go through Deshaun Watson. So it's a lot easier to trade him to the other conference, I would think. That's the only thing that we have going in our – all right, or what else? Tell me what is the one thing we have, maybe an owner that has a heart on?
Yeah, I mean, dude, billionaires get what they want. I don't know if you've noticed how our world is run, but billionaires get what the fuck they want, dude. And David Tepper is, he's used to Wall Street and other aspects of life. He's not used to his money not being his strongest asset. And whether he likes it or not, it doesn't matter what he's willing to give up. If the Houston Texans say, look, we're going to be picking at 8, there's a bunch of other quarterback needy teams that would then be ahead of us, and you're giving us Teddy Bridgewater in return. Like, there's a scenario where they trade away Deshaun Watson and then don't get their own franchise quarterback in return. So that trade is never worth it for them, again, unless they have our first and second pick for the next 2 or 3 years. So, they would have to be willing to kick that can down the road on a quarterback, but that's not likely because I don't know if you guys have followed the Texans, but they're going to need something to ingratiate themselves to their fans. They don't have J.J. Watt anymore. Deshaun
Watson. That's why number 8 pick is not enough.
I agree, man.
It does not get them the quarterback, and without the quarterback, you could give them Christian McCaffrey, you could give them Brian Burns, you can give them all of this. They ain't got the quarterback, and they lost Deshaun Watson. And then they're sitting like we are on the bubble, hoping and praying that someone slips that you really believe in. Trey Lance, Justin Fields, that's it. There's the only guys slipping that I'm going to even think about. The Carolina, that's where we're not primed. We don't have the juice. And maybe unless it's like a 3-way trade.
I was just about to suggest that. I've been thinking one up. Yeah.
Okay. And then the other one is a lot of people have been talking about the Houston Texans and the Seattle Seahawks thinking about a swap because of Russell Wilson's dissatisfaction. I want to ask this for Kevin. Kevin asked DJ Moore or TMC. If they're part of the deal, which one's easier?
But I'm picking one to stay or to go.
Oh, that's a good question. No, I'm going to say to go. And then he can figure out if he meant.
We already know Cody's answer here.
Dude, but you know what the fucked up thing about it is? If it wasn't for the money that we already paid him, I would pick CMC. I would want CMC to stay. But I think that now, the reason why I put more importance on DJ Moore right now is because we're probably not going to land Curtis Samuel. So we're not going to have Curtis Samuel coming back, and we're not going to have DJ Moore coming back. Like what? Just Robbie Anderson? Now you're going from maybe you can draft a supplemental receiver in the 2nd or 3rd round to now you have to draft at least 1 or 2 receivers. By the way, you also need 4 other players on the offensive line. You need a tight end because we don't have that. It's like if you're going to bring Deshaun here, I know he elevated a bunch of bums last year, but dude, we have to have a legitimate receiving core for Deshaun, and we can have that without McCaffrey.
Jason, your answer to that question: if we were going to land Deshaun Watson, and one of these players had to go, which one would you rather go?
Oh man, y'all not. DJ Moore has to go, man. DJ Moore has to go.
I agree.
Listen, hear me out.
I'm with you, bro.
Listen, if it's between those two specifically,
yeah, that's it. There's no other.
I feel like a lot of people forgot about McCaffrey, man. And
yes, the
people, folks okay, all right, just imagine, I don't think it's going to happen. I think if the trade was going to happen, McCaffrey's going to be gone. That's just me. But if I had the option between the two, I'm keeping McCaffrey. Could you imagine a backfield with Deshaun Watson and McCaffrey?
Here's the question for you. If you're Deshaun Watson, which one do you want? Oh, and I bet this is Deshaun Watson, who has never had a run game behind him with the Texans, would much rather have a multi-tool, versatile weapon like CMC. And not to say that DJ Moore is one-dimensional, not trying to say that, but you guys, I get a run game and a receiver. Dude, I've been making Will Fuller look like he should be in the Pro Bowl. No, Will Fuller is good as fuck. It's just always hurt.
Yeah.
But still, no, I'm with you. Hey, all right.
You want to hear my trade real quick?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
All right. So I got a 3-team trade here between Miami, Carolina, and Houston. Okay. So Houston's going to get Tua, DJ Moore, and the 18th pick. Miami gets J.J. Watt and the 8th pick, and Carolina gets a 3rd
pick.
Can't
get J.J. Watt.
They can't. They let him go.
They released J.J. Watt.
Oh, that really
they sure did.
And Devontae Parker. It was a good trade too. I was like, oh man, good trade.
You get an A for effort anyway.
Yeah. JJ is enjoying free agency right now.
And a couple of things to think about while we take this back call is we haven't seen multi-team trades in football in years, if ever. I can't remember the last one I've ever seen. And there is going to be a style. We know that the NFL is sort of a copycat league, and to a certain degree, you see somebody run a fake punt and everybody's running a fake punt. The LA Rams and what they did by moving Goff to the Lions, and there's part of that is immediate need versus salary dump. I wonder if we get to see any more trends like that popping up in the NFL. And I don't know if the Carolina Panthers are going to be part of them. I'm just saying, why is it that the NFL happens to be the most boring entity when it comes to trades? They really aren't. That's the one thing they're not good at is this blockbuster. It's just free agency.
A couple of years, yeah.
Rarely. I don't even think trades being a real option for teams.
Well, I think
the draft picks and it's kind of behind the scenes and you don't really see it. It's not very visual.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's we don't get the Ricky Williams deal or what was the one for Minnesota? Is it to Dallas or Dallas to Minnesota?
Herschel Walker.
Right, we don't see a lot of, but in NBA, these mugs will be trading these mugs. It'll be mid-season. Mugs.
They have a little more fluidity with their contracts in the NBA. The player association in the NBA is run so much better than it is.
So much better.
It's insane that they get a way better deal. They're way better represented.
So. All right, let's go to the cat calls. The number is 252-228-5098. Smash the thumbs up button if you like this content. If you don't like this content, smash the thumbs down button because here, to you, is YouTube looks at the analytics the same. It's just reaction. So by smashing the thumb, just don't do nothing. That's my point. Smash up, smash down, subscribe, leave a comment, be a part of the show. 252-228-5098.
Hey, guys. This is Chuck from Elizabeth City calling.
Chuck.
All right, this topic for me today, and I can hear the big sighs. I can see the eye rolls. But I want to address something about the 2015 Carolina Panthers. The greatest team that we probably ever did have.
Yeah.
And of course, we've never won a Super Bowl. But in 2015, not only do we have Cam Newton, who won the MVP, and we made it to the Super Bowl, but I want you to look at that year. We were 2 plays away, 2 to 3 plays away that year from being the only 16-0 perfect season.
Why you gotta do this to us, Chuck?
Super Bowl champion.
Why are we doing this?
The Dolphins at 14-0 and 72 were the only ones.
Why are you bringing up all shit, Chuck?
We're 2 plays away, 3 at the most. The Atlanta game that we lost the 16th week, a miraculous Julio Jones catch over a falling week.
I was thinking about that too the other day.
He doesn't make that play, we probably win that game.
Fucking
The
Julio.
Super Bowl, we
man.
know the strip sack fumble. If
Just another
that
DJ
doesn't
Moore,
happen, we
according
can
to
look
Cody
at
Lash.
the Cochran catch the ball 2 plays before or whatever. If the strip sack fumble does not happen, even if we punt, you're probably not even talking about Cam falling on the fumble in the end of the game when we're down 16-10. We probably win that game. I bring it up.
Why are you doing
We
this
were
to
2
us,
to 3
Chuck?
plays away
Why?
from having the only unblemished 16-0 Super Bowl championship team. I know we traded all
So
in
sad.
to be like the Giants the year with Eli, where they went 10-6 and upset New England in the Super Bowl. Now look at Tampa Bay this year winning the Super Bowl with Tom Brady.
Not even
As
close.
bad as that team has been lately until this year, at the bottom of the division for the most part for the past decade, they did build through the draft and they did have Tom Brady come in and bring guys this year. But the one thing that team did this year, they were close to barely being a 9-7 and 10-16. They finished 11-5. They got hot. You know, mind you, they did beat us worse than anybody else this year, but they were a team that did not even win the division. They were a wild card. Could have easily lost to the Saints in the playoffs. They had been swept by them this year. Green Bay is a game they won in the freezing cold. Yes, they did have the Super Bowl in Tampa at home, and the Chiefs had the decimated line, and they crushed them. And I'm not taking anything away from Tampa. I think if we could switch places, we would say yes. We would gladly go in the playoffs as a wild card.
All right,
Cut him off.
Gotta finish it.
So
No,
from
I
Louisville
didn't cut
to
him
finishing my rant.
He's
Guys,
just
I guess what I'm
dragging
saying
us
is
through sad times.
Tampa Bay this year, yeah, we would switch places with them. But the thing about it is, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers didn't even win their division this year. They get in the playoffs as a wild card, and they win the Super Bowl, and that's all we're going to remember.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm bringing the point of the 2 contrasts up is because we were 2 plays away from a perfect season, one that no one would have ever forgotten. Winning the Super Bowl is everything. Takes away a lot of the hurt and the pain, and it is the only thing. But can you really look at this Tampa Bay Buccaneers squad that won this year and say, it's a magical season?
No, I don't
They were the
agree at
best
all.
they won.
Well, yeah, I agree. I don't think they're like
Here we
a
had
team that could beat
2015 was
Super Bowl teams of the past.
We just blew it on 1 or 2 plays because of coaching and just.
All right, thanks, Chuck. We appreciate that call, Chuck. First, I don't appreciate that call in this one thing. Is thank you, Chuck, for being part of it. My man is part of the podcast. I love this dude. I love people that call in. I love people that chat. But damn, Chuck, why you got to drag us through sadness? 2 plays.
I don't know about 2-3 plays. I don't know about that, bro. I don't know about that.
Well, can I say 2 things?
4 or 5. But if Graham Gano hits that field goal, if Graham Gano hits that field goal, all of a sudden this game, you're not having to try to pass downfield. You got like a lot of different options later on. The Graham Gano missed field goal put us in a situation that was more tenuous.
In the Atlanta game or the Super Bowl?
No, the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Right. And so here is that you've got that all of a sudden that's a 3-point game or a tie game. It's 3 or tied at that point if that happens, and it changes the whole dynamic. You don't got to try to score a touchdown. You just got to you got to get a field goal. This and that. The Cotchery catch. Cotchery catches the ball, and the new rules would say,
and he did catch that ball, by the way.
Yeah,
he fucking did.
So, like, is that you're right? We were 2 plays. I think what Chuck is really trying to strike at in that call is that we're not trying to take away from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? We're not trying to take away from them. Like, you could be like, somebody might low cut them with the, oh, you tried to build a super team. Oh, you're a wild card team. I just think this is I would play, if I was the Carolina Panthers in 2015, I would play the 2020 Bucks. Like, I'm all right. Like, I will put our team up against that team. I'm not saying we're going to win at 100, but I think we beat that team.
I don't know about that one, bud.
Who's a better defense, Denver or Tampa Bay?
Like, the Chiefs were in shambles, this and that. Cam, I mean, like, I think, do you really think that the Bucs is one of the most historically great Super Bowl teams? I don't.
Shoot, they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, like kind of like,
if you want to,
like the best Super Bowl teams we've ever seen, would you say that they're going to be? That's a question. Like Brady has played Russell Wilson before in the Super Bowl, right? I believe he's lost and won, maybe one only. But do you really?
He's never lost.
The best
He
Super
lost
Bowl
to the Broncos or something, didn't he?
Yeah, they beat the Broncos.
Yeah.
Are the Bucs one of the best Super Bowl teams you've ever seen? And for me, I'm going to say that they're a good Super Bowl team, but they're not one of the greatest. That's my opinion.
I'll say this. I'd say they're one of the best coached, but talent and I guess like on paper, probably not. I agree with you. But that game plan that they set up for the Chiefs, I mean, yeah, they had Mike Remmers, but then it's that same Mike Remmers that that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Like, it would be the same thing. Like we're talking about 2-3 plays away, but how are they going to get downfield when there's a defensive lineman in the backfield?
Yeah. Our defense was more dynamic than the Chiefs. I don't know, man. The Panthers, Panthers team in 2015 was better than the team this year.
Was better than what? Say that again.
The 2015 Panthers were better than the 2020 Chiefs.
All around, yes, they weren't as good offensively, but they were better defensively.
I just say,
we were still really good offensively.
I'll play anybody with that 2015 team except for fucking Von Miller.
They had better offensive weapons than us. But dude, I'm telling you, that prime Cam Newton putting the fucking team on his back, bro. We might. No, that's the real sad thing. And then we got to move on. I'm sorry, Chuck, we love you, but that call was a bummer. But the one thing that bums me out. The one thing that bums me out about that, and again, man, Cam just did an I Am Athlete podcast and talked a lot for a long time and really opened up. But like the sad thing to me, as someone whose passion for NFL football was completely reignited by Cam Newton, I think the real sad thing is that we're probably not going to see that vintage just put it down, destroying defenses, Cam Newton again. And to me, that's the most sad thing. And also to answer Charles directly, I disagree with you, man. Like, I'm almost kind of happy that we lost to Atlanta, because wouldn't it be even worse?
Oh, shut up.
If the if the Panthers were fucking 16-0 and then got their dick knocked in the dirt in the Super Bowl, you're going to tell me that wouldn't sting even more?
No.
Because under
15-1 Super Bowl championship is just as good as 16-0.
I agree with him.
With the potential
listen.
It burns even more.
Cody, you usually the BD, Teddy BD up in there. You usually throwing it out there saying, this is what we think about stuff. No, is that if you want to win the Super Bowl and you have the opportunity of winning I would rather lose the Super Bowl 16-1 or whatever it is, 17-1. What would it make you? Whatever the fuck.
If you went 16-0, you have to win 19. You'd be 19-0 if you won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but that's why that Patriots.
I would be. I would want the opportunity to be the perfect team.
Yeah,
I would want it.
Fuck it. Come
Cody,
on,
Cody,
just win the Super Bowl. I want to win the Super Bowl.
Okay, are you saying that if you were 9-7 and were a wild card team and won the Super Bowl, it wouldn't mean as much as if you were a 16-0 team and won the Super Bowl?
No. That's not
what he was saying.
Let me say it clear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, we had Mike Remmers going up against Von Miller. That was going to be a problem no matter what our record was that year. Right. What I'm saying is, I'm happy that we ended up going 15-1 instead of 16-0. And then to lose it all in the Super Bowl and be that one more fucking team that almost got to the top of the mountain. We could have been called the perfect Panthers. That's how history.
I want to be the perfect.
They would have lost. That's what he's saying.
I don't care.
They were going to lose.
That's what we did not have the opportunity. We could have won the Super Bowl, and guess what? We didn't have the opportunity to be the perfect Panthers. So wouldn't you rather be the perfect?
Right. You don't have to climb that perfect mountain to win the championship. Was what I'm saying.
I'm not saying that you have to, but what I'm saying
it'd be nice to, but
that you have the opportunity to. That's what I want to do. I don't want to lose a game just for the sake of getting the rust off. Fuck that. I want to go into that bitch ready to fuck them up.
Let me ask you this: if you could not change the outcome, yeah, right as you say it.
I know what you're saying, Cody. Go for it.
So okay, Tony. Let's say you couldn't change the outcome of the Super Bowl, right? And we were going to lose that game no matter what. You would like. You're telling me that it doesn't hurt even more if we had an undefeated season.
Yeah, I'm with Tony.
Beat every single football team, and then only to lose it in the Super Bowl.
No, because I'm more embarrassed.
Put your hands over your ears, Mom. Put your hands over your ears, Mom. I'm telling you, Mama done. I'm gonna have to kick you out, but for this one thing, and that is fuck that. I am not wanting to lose to the Falcons ever.
That's more embarrassing to me is losing the Falcons after winning 15 games. That's more embarrassing to me.
No, I mean I hate that it was the Falcons, but
me too.
Like you're not feeling my point. Like
I feel your point. I think we just disagree.
You're right.
I think we just disagree.
It would burn so much more.
I'm not feeling it because I disagree. I would rather have the opportunity to walk out of the building like this than to say, then to walk out of the building kind of like
okay, CK,
you're going to be sad no matter what.
Okay, all right, CK. Look, CK, me and Jason are saying it hurt worse.
Thank you, Chuck.
It would hurt worse to be 16-0. What say you? If you couldn't change the Super Bowl and that it stayed the same no matter what, would you prefer to be 15-1? Or have the burn of 16-0 and fallen short?
So it's a tough question because obviously it's going to hurt regardless if you lose the Super Bowl, which we did. I think personally, the 2015 Carolina Panthers are going to be forgotten in a matter of 7 or 8 years. Right?
Agreed.
Nobody's going to remember them. If we were 16-0, even though we may have lost the Super Bowl, they're going to remember the Panthers 7 or 8 years from now.
Brody, take an L on this one, bro. Just take an L on
this. I'm not going to front. CK made a damn good point. Like, people, this is a good question. Are people going to remember? Are people going to remember the 2015 Patriots, or not the Panthers, in the way that people talk about? What was their undefeated season? The Patriots, the 2007, I think.
18-1. 2007, yeah.
Yeah, 2007. Like. Will history remember the Panthers like that team that lost to the Giants that year? I don't know. It's kind of all conjecture, but I just know being 16.
Yeah, because you're wrong, man. Sometimes Cody can be wrong. It's possible. It doesn't happen very often, but it is true. Is that would you rather hit a walk-off home run or a walk-off single. And I got to say this. I want to hit a walk-off home run. That's what I'm saying. The number's 252-228-5098. Smash the thumbs up button. Get in the comments and tell me this. Would you rather be 16-0 with or what is it? 19-1 with a Super Bowl loss, or 19 or 18-2? Whatever. Tell them, Greg, what the numbers are.
Well, if you go undefeated in the regular season, you'd be 19-0 to go undefeated.
Would you rather be 18-1 or 17?
Yeah.
That's what you're going to be 18-1. Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah.
We 18-1, or whatever it is. You're wrong, Cody. You're wrong, man. You got to walk off.
Man,
that Super Bowl would have been.
You still lose.
To the Falcons.
To lose. That's what he's trying to say.
Yes,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You lost the game.
Falcons make.
Yeah, you're losing the Super Bowl.
You're losing the Super Bowl regardless.
And it would have been
but we beat the Falcons. But we beat.
No one cares about beating the Falcons other than
I do. I hate
no one is talking about that Panthers team. Like,
so you would rather lose an extra game than win an extra game.
And we shut them out that year.
I got y'all. This is for the culture, I guess.
But
maybe I'm saying for the culture. Maybe
by the way, even that year, we shut out Atlanta at home. And then it was a close game when we lost to them in Atlanta. So,
I don't ever want to lose to the Falcons. I don't care, man. I hate those mugs. Next call.
Panthers podcast. How y'all doing? My brothers.
Man, G.
What up, G?
Hey, man. It was a crazy last week. Wasn't it? Good gracious, man. Trey Boston, he's gone. And that hurt me. It really did. He isn't the best safety, but he went to my diehard love for college football, University of North Carolina. I know there's a lot of Clemson fans out there. Cody, you know what I'm saying? But I love my damn Tar Heels, but he's gone. Weatherly's gone, man. Damn. K1 Short is gone. The punter is gone. Something is about to happen this year, man. Hopefully for the best. I still wouldn't mind Deshaun Watson. But honestly, the way it's looking, them cats want too much. They want too much for this damn dude, man. I do not want to get rid of Christian McCaffrey. The other side of me is telling me, that I heard Cody talk about it too. He paid him all this money and everything like that, and I don't know. I'm on the fence. I really don't want to get rid of Christian McCaffrey though, because who the hell's gonna take his place? Like for real? Are you gonna draft somebody? Are you gonna pick somebody up in free agency? And speaking of free agency, I'm gonna be the first one to say it. I would like Patrick Peterson to be a Carolina Panther, man. I would love him to come to Carolina. Him or that one corner out of New England. I forget his name. Carolina.
Gilmore,
but what do you guys think are we going to do when it comes to quarterback? Because I looked on NFL Network, and this one dude was saying that, Mac Jones is going to be number 8. Is that reaching too high to get Mac Jones?
I've heard that too.
I don't know. I do not know. Give me your thoughts on that and keep pounding.
Well, Jason, you were shaking your head no.
No.
No, as in
I've heard that.
No, as in no to Mac Jones at 8, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Bro, this Mac Jones love.
I've heard a lot of people. I've heard a lot of people on Twitter trying to defend him. If the Panthers draft Mac Jones at 8, we are desperate. We deserve to lose.
We deserve to not make the playoffs.
Yeah, man. A lot of people are wooed by the stat lines at Alabama when he has a beautiful pocket to throw from. Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle are screaming wide open.
Couldn't you make the same argument about Trevor Lawrence, though? He has the beautiful pocket to throw from, great receivers. You can make. I'm not saying by any means Mac Jones and Trevor Lawrence are on the same level at all. What I'm saying is, though, you can't make that argument for Mac Jones you can say the same thing for Clemson.
What I'm saying is
the best players around him with the best coaching around him. So.
After evaluating so many quarterbacks, what I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt is no matter what conference you play in, SEC all the way down to fucking wherever Trey Lance is playing, big time NFL throws are apparent when you see them.
Yeah.
The off-platform throws, being able to roll out, being able to be mobile, knowing when there's a run lane in front of you, knowing when to stay poised in the pocket, even when there's pressure in your face. Like, say what you want. Matt Jones was not pressured anywhere near as much as Trevor Lawrence was last year. He had four freshman offensive linemen that he was having to deal with, and he was still one of the better quarterbacks in college football. So all those tendencies that you're looking for a quarterback to be able to elevate you, Matt Jones, maybe he has it, but he hasn't demonstrated those talents at Alabama. He was good at taking a very talented football team all the way, but he is not the top. I don't have him as a first round pick. If he is, it's like a bottom of the first round.
All right, let's push through the next call.
Panther Nation, what it do? It's Jason from Colorado. There's a lot
not this time, Jason.
A lot to talk about. A lot of rumors in the quarterback situation. The first thing I heard was that the 49ers were potentially interested in trading for Teddy. And that would just be tremendous. I don't know why anybody would want to give up any capital for him, but any way that we could cut bait with him, I definitely think we should. I saw that both Teddy Bridgewater and Shaq Thompson both unfollowed Carolina on Twitter. And
we already listened to this one?
No, we just discussed that already. Yeah.
A trade package. Everyone seems to think that we're trying to be aggressive for Deshaun Watson. And I hope that that's the direction that it's going. I hope that the rumor about the asking price for Deshaun that we talked about earlier is accurate. 2 firsts, 2 seconds, maybe some thirds and some defensive starters. I'd be cool if Shaq was one of those. It would kind of get a nasty contract off our hands as well. And maybe we could package Dante Jackson up with him. I don't know. I also heard that Miami is now really strongly interested in Deshaun Watson. I know they previously said that they were sticking with Tua, but now the rumor is that they are really strongly interested, and they have a lot more that they can give. Really, the only thing that Carolina has is a willingness to get robbed. Let ourselves be taken advantage of more than another team, then we might be able to get what we want. And that kind of leads into what I saw Peter King and Peter Schrager. They kind of piggybacked off each other. I don't know who said it first, but what they had put together for Deshaun Watson was a first this year and a third this year, next year's first round pick, and then the following year's third round pick on top of Teddy Bridgewater, Robbie Anderson, Brian Burns, and Christian McCaffrey. And I hope that doesn't happen. It's not worth trading our whole team to get Deshaun Watson.
The only person that bothers me is Brian Burns.
Keep some of those important pieces that we already have in place. The Texans are really adamant that they don't want to trade him, and it worries me that they might just screw this up for everybody and just push him to hold out, and that's really the worst case scenario for everyone. But that's kind of what I see happening at this point. We were at least KK, but I know that the administration, I guess, came out and said that they would be interested in re-signing him if nobody else did, and I'd be interested with.
What number were we on? What was his number? Was this one?
Yeah, I was wondering what you guys thought about what KK would be worth coming re-signing at. And how about Russell Okung being the highest paid player in the football league?
This is the story. This is the story.
In Bitcoin or something like that. And now
let's go right here. First of all, thank you so much for calling in and the input right there. We got a lot of calls to get through. It's getting late too. But as we dissect that call right there, we've talked some of the things about the trade issues, the collateral, how much it would cost. And me being a Robbie Anderson dude, I'm all right with Robbie Anderson being part of the trade. Right? Like the one name that's kind of bothersome to me continues to be Brian Burns because he feels like it could be elite superstar and he's kind of butting into that. But here's the deal. You also have to pay him when he becomes that. So like if you're not playing, if you don't have that in the cards, then I guess you can make him part of the trade. But I do want to talk about this Russell Okung. He got paid half of his salary in Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
I've been tracking this a little bit. And I don't know when he was actually issued his payment.
It was when it was at 23,000, 24,000.
All right, that's when the tweet came out. Yeah. All right. So if we just base our number on that, when he put his tweet out, it was at 23,000. He got 6 million of his 12 million paid in Bitcoin. It's gone from 23 to 43. He has gone from he is the highest paid left tackle.
It was at 57 2 days
57?
ago.
57? Oh,
or 57
man.
or 53. I can't remember. A couple days ago. Yeah, it was mid to high 50s, and it dropped down in the last couple days. But yeah, he's a billionaire. Easily.
No. It went. He triple. We can not even. He didn't even triple his money. 24. He doubled that 6 million.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I do remember. Yeah,
and the 6 million he was paid at the time has turned into 12 million if he left it all there. I'm pretty sure he didn't leave it all there. I'm pretty sure he's been phasing out and now he's playing with some house money and this and that.
Yeah.
But pretty neat. It's a pretty neat story given that cryptocurrency is somehow becoming part of the mainstream, right? Somehow the cryptocurrency people convince banks that it's the way to go. And they're just all throwing their money at crypto now. And they don't even really understand it, I don't think. And I like crypto. I'm cool with it. Like I don't got a problem with it.
I'm hip.
It's the future.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like the banks are kind of like old dudes trying to get on it. Like, oh, with this crypto shit, we better let's throw $1 billion at it and we'll see where it's at.
Go throw $1 billion at Doge, please.
Good call. What do you think about? Were you upset when Elon Musk said sell your Dogecoin?
No, because it hasn't really gone down since then. It's actually risen a little bit since then. But look, there's no cap on it. It has to go up billions and billions and billions to even get to $1. It's a long time before Doge ever goes anywhere. Now, if you got some, hold on to it. But it's years.
Y'all already doubled your money. What happened to y'all doubling?
Well, because I did. Because I bought it at like 0.0003 cents, and now it's at 5 cents. So you know
what I want to do? I want to triple the likes on this podcast. I want to triple the subscriptions on this this channel. I will be okay with that. Go ahead and smash the thumbs up button. Let's go to the next goal.
Wait, no, pause it. I promised my handicapped brethren that he could cut in line because he's probably going to be going to bed soon.
Handy.
Look, I don't. It's where are you? I'll find him. 5524, I think.
5524. Wait, just call in. This mug said that's just like a handicapped person. They just show up.
Yeah, right. We're always late.
5524.
Yeah.
I don't got a 55524. Hold on. I'm refreshing my browser. My computer's dying. I don't got a 5524.
Well, I'm
all right.
I'm gonna go to the next one. I'll play it if I find.
I'm gonna play the next call. I'll look for it.
What's up, C3 fam? It's Nick. How's it going, guys? So I know you guys are gonna be going into detail on this again tonight. Okay, Deshaun Watson. All right. You know that he'd be
never heard of
traded to the Panthers, to the Dolphins, or to the Jets. Okay.
5522.
Those are the only teams that he's interested in being traded to. But let's look at what we have to offer as compared to the Jets or the Dolphins. Okay, the Dolphins have already said that they are committing to it, or that they want to. Now, that could just be a smokescreen. Okay? Let's say, hypothetically, he did get traded to the Dolphins. Okay, that leaves Tua. Now, Tua could be their backup, but something tells me Tua wouldn't want to be their backup behind Deshaun. He might be willing to do it for a year, maybe two, but after that, he'd be pushing it. Okay, that leads us the possibility of trading our number 8 pick for Tua, along with possibly another player.
Here's your 3-team trade.
I don't think he'd be worth much past a first round, and maybe some sort of like defensive backup or something like that. But that's just my 2 cents. I mean, the Jets themselves, they have Sam Darnold, who they said that they want to look at every single pro day and go along those lines before they make a decision whether or not they want to move on from. So it could be a while before we hear about them. Now, as far as us, okay, you got to think, first off, okay, he is going to want to sit behind a good offensive line. I don't know how our offensive line compares to the Jets or the Dolphins. I would assume that it's better, but that's just assuming.
Don't make that assumption.
Right now we have Taylor Moton. Okay, I feel like he could make some sort of stipulation that says, you know, hey, if Carolina wants me, you guys need to re-sign Moton. You guys need to give him some sort of contract, which could be better in the long run for us. But then my problem with Deshaun is the cost. Okay, at number 8, there's a very good possibility that we could have a good starting quarterback. It's very real that we could be in range for Trey Lance or Justin Fields, something along those lines. Now, I would obviously rather go with Deshaun over the 2 of those guys because Deshaun is proven. At the same time.
All right, that's Nick from Mass. He's got a second call. We're going to queue up in a minute. Well, don't worry, we're going to move Joey up here just in a second, but I do want to respond to Nick's call. I don't know if I think if you're the Dolphins and the Texans, I don't give a fuck about Tua's feelings. You know, and right now they haven't cared about him because they drafted him number 1 and they're already potentially shopping these other options. I don't know. I'm not worried about that. I do think Tua is an interesting look. He makes sense going to the Texans a little bit, right? They get somebody that they think they can try out, maybe other guys that can make them work. Maybe, like he's suggesting, Tua could be involved in a 3-way trade. But I do think this is that right now when it comes to the teams that are just attractive for Deshaun Watson, it's got to be the Miami Dolphins. And their defense alone, their 10 wins. You know, I mean, what, is he scared to play in the AFC still?
Well, again, you know, you in the video that you made, Tony, talking about Deshaun and the real possibilities of him coming to Carolina, you put a tweet up there by someone explaining pretty much why Miami was the most reasonable place for Deshaun to want to go. They have the defense. They have a really good defense. That was a 10-6 football team. They do have a lot of good weapons. They have a lot of draft picks at their disposal too. They have a coach that I think Deshaun Watson probably respects a lot too. Yeah, the Miami Dolphins to me have always been the front runner. The Jets still need a lot of pieces. The Panthers not so much as terms of pieces. He won't have to elevate too many lackluster players. But again, as we already talked about, Houston moving to 8 in a lot of ways, I just don't see that being very beneficial to Houston being able to get their franchise QB. As you hear in our calls, though, it does seem like there is a good portion of at least our fans that watch that are kind of tepid about giving up too much for even Deshaun.
It is a lot. It is a lot. Like when you think about that, is that you're mortgaging, you know, you're giving up so much for something. So we've been sold this bag. We've been sold this bag that says you build slow and conservative. You know, like we want to build sustainable winners. We've been sold this in a way to where there's that fear of giving up something. It's It's almost like a kid with a candy or something like. And if you ask them like, would you like to go to the movies right now, or would you like a Hershey Kiss for the next 10 days? And they're like, I don't want to lose the Hershey Kiss. You know, I mean, there's just something about the fear of losing the future that is unsettling. But I think the other thing that is weird, I won't say not weird about this call, is that I'm starting to wonder if 8 is feeling good about. I don't feel great about getting a quarterback at 8. I kind of feel like, and maybe I've just been listening to Cody Lashley too much. Maybe this mug is just beating his message into my head for the last year. But I kind of think back to last year and last year's draft where we were at 8, and Justin Herbert's right there at 7, and he gets picked right before us. And then like he was almost there, but he wasn't. And I just kind of feel like this. Maybe that like 8 is the place where you're like, ugh, it's like purgatory for getting quarterbacks.
Hey, if Trey Lance is available at 8, I've been looking at his highlights lately. I don't think he's a bad pick at 8 to be true.
No, Trey Lance.
You know, like I was watching the highlight the other day where he drug a pile like 10 yards.
That's my thing. Is like I don't even think. I think you go. There's a quarterback at 1. There's a quarterback at number 2. Who cares what the teams are?
3.
There's probably 4 quarterbacks before you get to pick number 8.
Why have you not expressed interest in your favorite quarterback in the NFL?
Who? Cam Newton?
No, Gardner Minshew.
Oh, God.
I mean, he's going to be available, bro.
Because it's so easy to cheer for Gardner Minshew when he's on somebody else's team. Is that like he only went to ECU for like a minute. Like he played there, he played like 2 games or 3 games, and he transferred. And he's just like this cool personality. I'll call him White Cam. It's like White Cam. He's just this wild, awesome personality. But I don't think he's great. I mean, you know what? I would. How about this? I would swap Gardner Minshew for Teddy Bridgewater right now,
any day of the week.
Straight up.
Who's better, Gardner Minshew or Jake Long?
This motherfucker will not show up in a damn serial killer
I can't believe I'm saying this, but Teddy Bridgewater won more games this year than Gardner Minshew.
They were tanking though.
Also,
tanking on purpose.
Like 6 games. Yeah.
Tony, who's better, Gardner Minshew or Jake Delhomme?
Jake Delhomme, duh.
Okay.
Gardner Minshew isn't that good. He's just kind of this guy. Maybe if he goes on to make a Super Bowl, he'll be that cool. That's right. Bring him in. I want to swap him straight up. I will trade that out. All right. Joey the Blind Panther. Wow.
Guys, it's Joey. I'm going to just say this for real. It doesn't matter.
Wake up.
Like, remember that year we were 7-8-1? If we won the Super Bowl that year,
I'm with him on this.
Cody would have been so beside himself he'd be walking. And I'd have been drunk that I would see a double. So
good call, Jeff.
There's that, and also wow.
The build up on that one.
Well done, Joey. That's a good call. That's a call.
Yeah.
I was going to say this too, is what's cooler? What would be cooler to win the – so we were talking about Chuck called in and he said these Super Bowl teams and how we should place them in the context of history, sort of, right? And that if you win, we could have been the pinnacle of history if we would have been perfect, right? That's cooler than winning the Super Bowl as a wild card, just to have a perfect season. Yeah. Is the coolest thing ever to win the Super Bowl as like a 7-8-1 team back then, and somehow that might be the coolest fucking way to win the Super Bowl ever.
Yeah,
that's how Ron Rivera is going to win it. I got something to say about Ron Rivera in a second. All right, next one.
Maybe with Cam Newton.
All right, guys. Also, so when you compare the cost of Deshaun versus possibly getting the quarterback that we would want at number 8, okay? Question is what would we get out of those first round picks? They're talking about 2 to 3 first round picks. Now, I wouldn't be opposed to this year's number one and next year's number one.
Go ahead,
but I
add
feel
one
like
more
much more
on.
past that is just asking way too much. Now, if we could offload some of the contracts that we don't necessarily like cough, cough, Teddy Bridgewater, cough, cough, Shaq Thompson, because we haven't really been too high on Shaq this last season or the season before. Granted, we were expecting him to fill in for Luke, but who's going to fill in for Luke? He was a generational linebacker. He is not somebody that you can just replace with some random person on the roster and expect things to be the same as they were before. So I'm not really sure how it would compare as far as where we would be in the long run, keeping all of our picks, going with possibly a quarterback at number 8 in the draft as compared to Deshaun. But I don't know necessarily if we have all of what Deshaun wants. I mean, if you look at what we have on the roster now and what is going to be leaving, Curtis Samuel is most likely, unfortunately, going to be leaving. Okay, I feel like he shouldn't leave, but there's a very strong possibility that he will. You got Taylor Moton, who we still haven't signed yet, which is bull. We have a relatively weak offensive line that we haven't spent any draft picks on over the last 5 years or so. Okay, so Deshaun might be looking at us saying, well, you guys haven't really done anything to protect your offensive line, and I don't want to be another Cam Newton. So
it's
let me
a
know what you
reasonable
guys'
point.
thoughts are on that. I'll be in the chat tonight, so love the show, guys. Listen every week. Keep time.
My man Nick, I think it's not only is it just a reasonable point, it is it just adds to the concept that the Panthers don't have the most firepower. It's like this, is that like if we're going to an auction and we're trying to buy a car and we both want the car and you have more money than me, how am I supposed to win the fucking car? And right now we don't have the most money, and we don't have the most money in draft picks. We don't have the most money in cap space. And then on top of that, the question is, do we have the most collateral in the team? And that's negligible. It's a negligible. We're just assuming that Deshaun Watson likes Matt Rule and David Tepper for some reason.
Well, it's been going on in the chat tonight. People talking about how confirming that he said his teams that he's narrowed it down to was Carolina, Miami, and New York. Is that positive, or do we know that?
And I'm happy that you asked that, because I feel like none of this is confirmed.
Well, the only thing I was going to say is if that's true, and he has Carolina on that list, then obviously Carolina, he has something about Carolina he likes. But I don't know if that's true or not.
That's the thing. Like, I feel like a lot of these like reports, quote unquote, is just based on, just trust me, bro.
Right.
Like, I feel like it's a lot of speculation going on, and I feel like it's a lot of takes that have just been going off.
Yeah,
that literally
for
happened.
example, David Newton's article.
Yeah, that literally happened with David Newton. Everyone just up and ran with it. Like, no, man, you gotta have sources. Like, and that's not necessarily on him either. It's a lot of people. It was kind of what I was saying earlier. Like, when it comes to journalists, like, people care about what we have to say because they feel like we're the closest to, I guess, our sources and everything, which is fine. But sometimes when journalists give out takes, it's just takes. Right. That's all it is.
Jason Lockenford puts out this piece a couple of days after the David Newton issue. And this is, if you guys want to know the deets about how all of this transpired, you go check out my YouTube video. Are the Panthers really trying to trade for Deshaun Watson? And the deets about this all roughly is that the hype kind of brewed with this Newton bold prediction that was then ran with by social media and FS1, and it was unsubstantiated. It was a big mix-up. It's what social media can do. But on top of that, he comes out and he says, hey, this was just this bold prediction. It's a burn piece. We ain't got nothing to write about. This is what we do at this point. The next day, Jason Lockenford puts out a piece, and he's with CBS, a national writer, so broad reach. And what he says is that sources tell me that Panthers are dissatisfied with Teddy Bridgewater. Therefore, they're a good match with Deshaun Watson. So what happens is people interpret his source report for the Panthers being dissatisfied with Teddy Bridgewater for being a source report that they're actually talking to the Texans, and he's leading them in that direction. He is misleading, like he's trying to do that. Like if you look at his tweet, and look, I understand he's got an agenda. He's trying to make this. He's trying to get his clicks. He's trying to do all of this. But there, like you said, there's not one substantiated thing. I just say this is the Panthers' interest in Deshaun Watson is duh. Just like every other fucking team in the league.
Yeah.
Don't act like you got a that told me unless you know. And look, the Panthers would not leak that information. And if they did, they're bums. They're bums. Like maybe they're on the road, but they don't need to be leaking this information, this and that way, this and that. So I think it is just speculation. I think it is just this. It's just logical. The Panthers don't have a quarterback. Deshaun Watson doesn't like where he's at. Well, so what? So does 20 other fucking teams in the league.
Yeah, it's just common sense, man. And I'll tell y'all this right now. That Panthers PR team is on point, and they are very, very protective on, I guess, what is leaked, I guess. So it's all speculation, man. Obviously they're not rocking with Teddy Bridgewater. Obviously.
Panthers.
It's just common sense.
And their sarcasm. Nah, I like Bill. I'm glad Darren Gant's writing for the Panthers now. All right, let's go to the next call.
Hey, guys, it's Chuck calling from Elizabeth City.
Yo, Chuck.
I guess I'm looking at everything. I feel like we've kind of just beaten the dead horse to death, but it just needs to be stated. We go back and look when we let Cam go last year. And we all know that in the heart of hearts, he's probably washed. But I believe the man deserved the respect. With the 1 year, we should have let him play.
Talking about Cam
best
now?
player we've had in franchise history.
My man talking about the 2015
I think it was
Super
the right
Bowl.
decision to let him go, just
Cam.
maybe not the way we did let him go. And we've talked about it before. We bring in Teddy, and we all can see that's a mistake. I don't know if anybody in the man's corner.
We tried to tell y'all.
Teddy's kind of like when you've ever ordered something off of Amazon or online, and you're excited, and you wait to get it. It finally comes in, and you open it up, and it ain't what it's supposed to be, guys. You thought it was made out of metal, and it was made out of paper.
Or plastic.
And you don't tell anybody you purchased
paper.
it, and you put it away, and you're so upset with the purchase that you won't even send it back to Amazon and get your money.
I'm embarrassed. I got suckered by the fucking false reviews.
If Teddy's got a Tupperware dish out there somewhere in Charlotte where he went to Matt Rule's house for dinner or somebody Tepper's housewarming party, it's safe to say he's not getting that dish back. And definitely we got to move away from him. It's becoming a cancer. We got to cut it loose. Let him go somewhere else. I mean, even losing the money. I'm afraid we put ourselves in a position, though, that if we trade up, we're going to lose a lot of draft capital to get an unproven quarterback.
It's just the way it is.
Quarterback, we're not going to be there for a few years. Definitely get Deshaun Watson. It's going to cost us so much. What kind of players we got to put around him? Guys have said it time and time again. If we don't get who we want at number 8, we need to trade down, accumulate some picks. Let's build everything else up. The offensive line, the secondary, get a linebacker in free agency. Let's re-sign Moten. See who we can hang on to and bring in. And if the quarterback's the last thing we get, guys, it could be things that are worse. But we're starting to look like we got egg on our face.
What do you do? Thank you. Thanks, Chuck, for the call. But here, my question is with that. Is that all right? Say, because let me pull this comment. J Dub says this, and he's right. Financially, we can't cut him. We'd lose our ass in cap space. Like, you're gonna just pay him $20 million to go away. But what can you do? Like, if Chuck is right, say Chuck, we do, and I don't disagree with some of the theory behind it. Is like if you can't get your guy, you might as well load up and wait for the moment you can, and then you strike at that point. So you're starting to load up for down the road. But what happens next year? Or this year, should I say? Do we have to really? We go out, say we accumulate 2 picks in the first, we draft 2 offensive linemen, We drafted a middle linebacker that's going to be awesome. And then we got picks later for next year. Are we really trotting Teddy out there after the way that they have talked? It's like so awkward at this point. It's like you got caught in the bedroom with a woman, and now you're trying to take your wife on a date that night.
I kind of think Teddy Bridgewater wants out.
Right?
I think so too.
I said that on Twitter. I think that Teddy Bridgewater is very upset. He's very in his feelings. Which is obvious from certain Twitter actions that shall not be named. But also the fact that, listen, he sees the news cycle like us. He sees all the rumors that we were going to trade him away, and he sees everything. The Panther fans are saying on Twitter about Deshaun Watson.
Oh,
what the news are saying about Deshaun Watson. That's what I was telling Jason earlier. It's like he has this pompous attitude about him, where it's like he feels that he's deserving of something that he hasn't earned. Like every day, people have to go to work and prove that they're worth the job that they're paid to do. Because at the end of the day, if you don't live up to what you're supposed to do, you get fired, you get cut. But that
he
kind of
acts like people thought Cam. The people that hated Cam.
Yeah, he acts like what they thought.
That's that same thing. Yeah, I noticed that. Too.
He is the quarterback that they are upset with.
And I kind of think that because of that, he is so in his feelings and so upset that he's like, fine, if y'all don't want me, I don't want to be here. You better hope that you get that.
And you got to pay me. Who cares?
Yeah, because and you know what? Like what Chuck said had some truth to it. Is that we could end up with egg on our face because if we're not able to land the quarterback, and now Teddy Bridgewater's pissed off and doesn't want to play, dude, that's a bad recipe.
DJ.
Where's all the PJ Walker support?
Imagine how many Twitter accounts are going to be created at that moment. There's going to be like 70 burn accounts created if Teddy Bridgewater is starting on week 1. And they'll be like, see, I told you he was the greatest quarterback I ever saw. All right, next call.
Tony. You Italian mother. What's up? It's your boy Blake B. What it do? What it do? Started. Smash that thumbs up button. Okay, smash it. Takes 2 seconds.
My dude.
I just want to say I thought I had this number memorized. I dialed a number. It was not the C3 Panthers podcast. I guarantee you that right now.
Did you leave a message though?
I'm getting there. I thought I had it memorized. I just want to know. Hey, a little bit off topic, but what's your favorite beer? I just want to know what your favorite beer is. I'm fairly new to the beer game, so I want to experiment with some different beers. So,
I got you, bro.
That's in the chat too. I want to hear it. Hey, I think the age of the period for tagging players started today. I think we have till March 9th to come to a deal. I don't know if you heard my ESPN go off, but is Moten going to get tagged by the 9th, or are we going to reach a long-term deal by, I think, July is when we have the option. So, hey, I just buttoned out somebody. Hopefully they didn't get my C3 message, but I guess I'll find out soon. Keep timing.
Blake, this is my dude. That's my dude. All right, so beers.
Can I go first as a non-beer drinker? Because I promise you I probably drink less than everybody, but when I do drink, I either drink Heineken or Stella Artois. Those are my two big name beers. Yeah. Okay. Then I actually have I'll say this one first. UFO White Ale is fucking delicious. It is so good, and it goes good with food too. Like if you're having dinner, white ale is just perfect to me. And then if you're ever in the Charlotte area, one of my good friends, Marcus Nash, he actually works at Sugar Creek Brewing Company here in Charlotte, and dude, they make a hell of a beer, man. All kinds of IPAs, white ales, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I normally haven't been a big beer drinker typically. I'm not really a big alcohol drinker, but lately I've been having a few beers, and it's mainly Heineken.
All right. Well, I know that CK is not a drinker. Greg's not a drinker. And Jason, do you drink beer at all? Because I got this question.
I'm more. Look,
man.
I mean, beer's okay. That's not my first drink of choice. Personally, like it might be a little unpopular, but I'm more of a vodka person. That's just me.
Okay.
I'm more of a vodka or a Crown guy. If you give me some vodka or some Crown, like I'm good. I don't need like all that liquid to get me going. You know what I mean? That's just me personally. But if I was to choose one, mind y'all, I am fresh out of college, so
yeah, you're a baby.
Forgive me. Yeah, I am a baby.
I've been in this game for a minute.
You know what I'm saying? Nah. My girl loves White Claw
because they got no carbs. Wait. All right, let me tell you this: is I come from a town, homie.
Mm-hmm.
Mom, turn off the earbuds. I don't know why she'd be coming up in here my time. This is my time with my homies. So I come from a town that's known for being a party town. Right? Like Greenville, North Carolina is like known for being a college party town. So
shout out Pirates.
You come up quick as a baby.
Mm-hmm.
So you dip your toe into the domestic beers when you're a little child and you're this and that. But as your palate evolves, and I would say for me, I had the first wheat beer I ever had, which is Blue Moon is a wheat beer. The first one I ever had, I was in Europe. And I was 19 years old, and I was in Europe, and I had this, and I just got this beer. I felt like I was sitting in the middle of a fucking wheat field in Kansas, bro, chewing wheat. It was so weedy. Right, so your palate evolves. So, like, when I hated that mess when I was 18, 19.
Okay.
Right, as you get older and you give a little bit more, just like food and different things, you can start to tolerate different stuff. So, like, you got to creep out of those domestics, right? Like, the Yingling is the domestic beer. It's too sweet for me. I don't like it. Right? I like Cody's style. Like, right? I'm cool with those kind of, they're not like Scandinavian. They're like Dutch, the Dutch beers, the Bavarian, right? Like, those types of beers. They're good. But right now, the beer craze has all moved to not microbreweries here in the States, right? Like small breweries or smaller breweries. And now they're dealing with stuff that's a lot more hoppier, right? Like they're dealing with, you're getting IPAs. You're getting
a lot of IPAs, man. I can't do a lot of IPAs. Like some of them are so bitter that it's like, this is not my thing.
I'm going to give you your tasting tour of wonderfulness when it comes to the IPA game. First, you start with Sierra Nevada. You start with a pale ale. Sierra Nevada pale ale is like the standard go-to. That's the bar beer. You're at the bar, you're in the pale ale. Like you can do that. That's feeling good all night long, right? Then you can move up a little bit. You can do so. They got something like Sierra Nevada's got like they got this juicy IPA that's real good, or a hazy IPA that's pretty solid. But then you're going to shift your next gear, like you're going to next move to this brewery in Georgia. It's called Terrapin. And they got Hopsecutioner. They're like Terrapin beers in Athens, Georgia. Killer, man. Lua Crunkles is my joint, man. Hopsecutioner. So there, I'm going to tell you. Terrapin, Hopsecutioner is 8.3%. Be careful with that mug. It'll get you. Crunkles is like 7.3. It's a great beer. It's sweet. It's wonderful. It's got it's just beautiful. And then you're going to go to the Pinnacle, which is right in North Carolina, man. In what's the mountain town? Everybody's at Asheville. Wicked Weed, bro. Wicked Weed Pernicious is the greatest beer on earth.
I'm upset at you, man. I thought you were going to say Sweetwater, or did I miss that?
Nah, man. Sweetwater is made by Coastal. That's kind of like a big company that got a hold of a flavor that's kind of good. It's not bad. Like, I'll mess with it.
Because my brother would drink that shit, and I was like, not for me.
Pernicious is delicious, bro. So I'm telling you, start with Sierra Nevada, then you go to Athens, Georgia with terrapin beers, Louis Crunkles, bro. It's sweet. You be like this. You could be girls like Louis. It's wonderful. And to the moon, as the kids say.
Yeah,
And,
Greg.
Wicked Weed next. All right, enough alcohol talk.
We didn't get Greg's. Greg said he had one.
Oh yeah, I have one. I'm usually not a darker beer drinker, but there's this beer called Baba Black Lager. It's got a lamb on the front. I used to have this job I worked at. I worked at a bistro, and it's just absolutely amazing. My shift beer every night. Really, really good stuff. It's not too heavy for a dark beer, so check that one out if you get a chance.
Brian Donaldson said, as I sit here drinking a Bud Light, bro, don't worry. I'm not a snob, bro. I'm a Miller Lite preference, and right now I'm on these seltzers. When you come to dark beers, that's a complete different game. Guinness, always the delicious one, triple stout, the best. And what's the other one? The Murphy's Irish Stout is the joint if you like dark beer. All right, next call. A couple more.
What's going on, See-Through Nation? It's your boy Jay Anderson eating y'all up. Oh man, it's just funny, man, that Teddy Bridgewater had a burner account, and we get that, people. Man, I wonder if you get at Cody, man, as much as Cody get on Teddy Bridgewater. Him and AO Freeze.
Hey, that's my guy.
Other than that, man, I know. This particular player is not on the Panthers no more, but I feel like he is a Carolina legend. I'm talking about Cam Newton. That whole kid, disrespecting.
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about this.
I just find it funny how some of the media people, had Cam back much as times they hated Cam, especially ESPN. They talking about Cam deserving respect. I'm like, we being, as Panther fans, well, some of us Panther fans have been getting at the media about giving Cam his respect. And I don't know about y'all. I'm sure about y'all parents have taught y'all about respecting, your elders and stuff like that. I know my parents have. My parents got at me, even though I'm a well-respected kid at the time. Shoot, my mom didn't hold back. She'd say, hey, we dropping you off. You better act right. We get a bad report, we're going to get you. And stuff like that. So a lot of that stuff ain't just jumping on that one kid. But to me, it was like, I'm questioning the folks around them. And I don't want to beat up on it. It's just like questioning the folks around you because, my uncles tell me, it was like, dude, you want to act like a grown man? There's gonna be some grown people that gonna get at you in the worst way.
Yeah.
So the kid got off lucky. Shout out to Cam. Cam was well respected. He wasn't triggered like some people try to say he was triggered. He wasn't triggered. He wasn't disrespectful to the kid. He was laughing the whole time. He wasn't mad. He was laughing and smiling and stuff like that. Like the whole thing, man. Like parents need to start, raising their kids and how to respect adults and stuff like that, man. It's like it always starts at home, around your whole surroundings. To respect your elders. All right, man.
I love that call, man.
Yeah.
That's my call tonight. Tonight, and it's like, listen, man. People, when you don't fear repercussions, that's when you see that kind of shit. Like kids are growing up today thinking that you can just say any old thing,
anything.
Yeah, and put it online, like put people on blast like that. Like it's one thing if you want to talk shit about Cam Newton online, whatever. But you're at the man's football camp. He's providing you an opportunity to better your own fucking life, and you want to talk shit about it. Like, it's just, to me, man. And by the way, the young man actually did issue an apology, so I don't want to, not put that out there. Yeah, and he was feeling all the heat online. Everyone was coming down on his ass and clowning him. But I give him credit for apologizing, but at the same time, it's just indicative of like the younger generation, like, they fear no consequences, man. I'm telling you, like, I don't know. I ain't gonna make this I don't even have fucking kids. So I ain't gonna tell people how to raise their kids. But I just think that, especially nowadays in the age of social media, a lot of these kids just need more discipline, man. They really don't know right from wrong. And he's in high school though. Like, come on, when you're a senior in high school, you can drive a fucking car. You're gonna tell me that you don't know the difference in how to act in public? It's embarrassing, man. And if I was that kid's father, I'd be embarrassed on behalf of my son.
I've got great parents, man, that were very involved in my life and great role models, but I was a little shithead when I was 17 too.
Yeah.
You know, so that's one thing. I don't necessarily believe it's like kids these days are just the shitheads that don't believe in, that's one thing. I think really one of the big issues that we see is that I think what the internet has allowed us to do, and I love the internet. Look, we're on the internet. Like, I'm not going to come on here and ice the internet up as we're trying to do a free podcast on YouTube. Right? That would seem silly. But what it does allow you to do is kind of talk to people. And I think society has modeled this. I don't think it's just this 17-year-old kid. I think you turn on the news, you look at the former president. Let's just go say the former president. You can look at the way people talk about politics on Facebook and this and that. Adults, the people raising this kid, talk like this all the time to people on the internet and in life. It just is not recorded. And so I'm not saying this kid, look, the kid was a shithead, right? Like, he was. But I just don't think it's like this. It's like this, just maybe it is this generation, but if it is this generation, it was created by the parents of that generation, just as much as the children of that generation. And the parents, they're modeling that on the way they live. Kids reflect the way their parents live and stuff like that. And I'm not trying to call this kid's parents out. I mean, look, I think this kid could have just gotten caught up in the moment.
I think that's what happened.
And he's talking junk. His friends are laughing at her, and then he just kept going and this and that. And it's just kind of a crappy look. Is he going to regret that? Look, I've apologized to a couple people in my life from when I was younger, like just for not no reason, but like 15 years later. I saw my Latin 2 teacher when I was in high school, or my high school Latin 2 teacher, and I saw her when I was like 33 years old, and I skipped 52 days of her class my senior year. She was so sweet to me. She loved me, like she took care of me and this and that, and I just was a shit in her face. And basically at the time, and at that moment, it didn't matter to me. But 20 years later, it bothered the mess out of me. It's been bothering me. Like, there's a couple of people I've got to go. So I think good people. So I don't want to just look. The kid was I won't say does he deserve what he got, this and that. You know what? You get what you get. I don't know if you deserve it or not, but you get what you get. And like he threw his hat in the ring, and then the internet got him. I'm glad I'm not a 16-year-old in this age. I'm already worried about what we do up here. Think about this. I got a family, a career, this and that. I'm on this. I'm taking an unnecessary risk doing this podcast. It's an unnecessary risk for no money. All right. The number's 252-228-5098.
Hey, yes. My name's Juan. His last name is Conley. I'm from North Charleston, South Carolina. I'm a huge Carolina Panthers fan. This is the first season. I have a question about the Deshaun Watson trade. What if we got Deshaun Watson to come to the Carolina Panthers and did not need to give a lot of players? What if we did a sign a trade, including Corey Samuels and not Christian McCaffrey, but if we got Carolina Schwartz come back to do the sign a trade to go to Houston, they get Watson and a second round pick this year is fifth round this year from Houston, and exchange for our first 3 picks next 3 years and a fifth and a sixth this year. Use the pick around 2 to go after Travis, the running back from Clemson, and then go after J.J. Watt and Von Miller in the defensive part of the free agency. Will that help the Carolina Panthers win the championship within the 2 to 5 years? or will I be a big bust? That's the answer, and I'm a huge fan of your podcast. Y'all keep doing anything awesome and keep telling me. Bye.
Yeah, man, we appreciate that call. It's a complicated trade there. Did you keep up with it, Cody?
Yeah, well, I also think that maybe his call might have been a little early too, because I think he included K1 Short into that also, and he's not.
He said sign and trade, and I think he may be talking about that there is a idea that K1 Short went on Sirius Radio and said that there have been a few teams in touch with him, but Scott Fitterer was willing to said that, look, if you don't get something good in free agency and we can work a deal out, we'll be happy to have you back. It's just not on your current number. So I wonder.
I think the caller said sign him back too. Yeah,
sign and I think Curtis Samuel too is like you can't trade Curtis Samuel unless you sign him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the caller did mention sign him back.
Sign and trade for two players. And then CMC was also part of that. I think really more interesting is this is not more interesting. That's not the way I want to say it, but Etienne, his stock's I won't say fallen, but a little bit. He's not like all of a sudden getting drafted in top 10. I don't feel like.
Dude, I think it's going to be a long time until you see another Saquon Barkley. If I'm being very frank with you, like I think I honestly kind of think the days of running backs like going even as high as Christian did, like that's I really do think the trend is everybody sees what you can get in the later rounds. I mean, look at Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He was the 32nd pick in this year's draft by the Kansas City Chiefs and had a fantastic first year outside of some injuries. It's like the cat's out the bag. You don't need to spend premium early first round picks on running back.
But you know what? I felt like it's almost secular because there was like a kind of a cycle where they weren't signing running backs early, and then all of a sudden it became hot again. It was like you got who's the dude from Elliott? Like you had those couple of years where it just went crazy. And then Gurley, maybe it was Gurley was early, but still like, and then it goes away and then it comes back and it goes away. Another part of his call was though targeting some veteran defensive guys, either Von Miller or JJ Watt. And here's where I just think is this. If I'm JJ, you want to talk about if Deshaun Watson wants to come here or not. Like, I think that it's an easier question, an easier no for JJ Watt and an easier no for Von Miller. If I'm JJ Watt, if I'm Von Miller, I'm going to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Going to the Chiefs, and I'm going to fight Denver at the whole time. And then I'm going to come back and get the championship. If I am JJ Watt, I'm going to the Chiefs or the Bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, could you imagine, dude?
They're ring chasing, man. They're ring chasing, right?
Yeah,
they are. They made their money. They made their money. They don't got to go and make an extra $5 here or there.
This ain't Pat Peterson's going to do that too.
Can I comment on what you were saying a minute ago about the running backs? While I agree with you to a certain extent, Edwards-Helaire didn't have a great year last year. 803 yards, 4 touchdowns is not a great year.
Say it again.
803 yards on 181 attempts and 4 touchdowns.
What was his yards per carry?
4.4.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad at all.
That's pretty
good.
good.
Decent, but again, we've already talked about how good that offensive line was up until the injury.
Look up what Mike Davis's yards per carry were.
Oh yeah, I'll check it out. But my point is, you're right. You can replace a running back easier with a lesser player, but players like Christian McCaffrey, Ezekiel Elliott, players like that, Saquon Barkley, there'll still be a few of those that come around. And they'll get drafted because those kind of players, those are those cream of the crop players, like Jason was talking about earlier. Like it's those guys are the guys that are still going to get drafted because they're worth it. You know?
Yeah, they're a rarity. And when you say like that's where I was going to disagree a little bit, where you said that the age of the running back being drafted as high as Christian or Saquon or anything is long past. Yeah, it's probably going to be gone until we get another Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, or something in the draft.
There's a quarterback or running back needed team.
Yeah. I mean, you got to keep in mind. I mean, you can sit there and look at the Alvin Kamara and say, look what they got at the later rounds. But as much as you could say you can replace a running back, nobody has been able to replace what Alvin Kamara has done over the Saints. Nobody's been able to do what Christian McCaffrey did here. You can sit here and say that Mike Davis held his own and everything, but when Christian McCaffrey was in for that Chiefs game, you could see a difference.
Yeah,
you could see a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Like
we
it's
didn't
not
win
against the Chiefs. We almost did. We almost beat them.
We almost beat a bunch. Yeah, we almost beat a bunch of other teams without Christian.
But with Christian, we almost beat the Chiefs, who are considered the best team. You could sit there and argue all you want. They are the best team in the NFL, even though they lost to the Bucs. The Bucs just happened to catch Mahomes on a bad day when he didn't have his offensive line that was able to protect him. Right at the end of the day.
But you just talked about Alvin Kamara. What round was he drafted?
That's what I'm talking about. I'm saying, like, when you think about that rarity, how many other people have ever been drafted like that and turned out to be Alvin Kamara?
Kareem Hunt was a like a fifth round pick, I think.
But he hasn't had the career.
Yeah, it's levels.
He had one good year, and yeah.
My point was this: like,
man, we can all pick out a Tom Brady.
Guys, the only reason I said that was because Travis Etienne, like, no one's souring on him because he isn't an elite prospect. Like, Travis Etienne is the best running back. He
can't pass, but he's not the best running back. That cat from Alabama is.
No, he is not. He is not. He does not. He does not have the scoring ability. You're talking about Najee Harris from Alabama. He doesn't have the scoring ability and the foot.
Maybe he can pass protect. He's the total package.
He's not a threat to take it to the house from anywhere on the field. I'm telling you, Travis Etienne,
not even the 1 yard line.
Travis Etienne, I bet you runs a sub 4.3.
Okay.
And Mike Davis.
You know what? And I'm totally cool with that. I think he looks awesome. I'm fine with that. I feel like, man, if you're talking about him for a third round, but here we've picked up so many running backs in the fourth and fifth rounds and just cut them. So I don't know. I would love to see a third round running back be awesome. I ain't never seen one in the Panthers. When was the last time? How about that? Who was the last running back for the Carolina Panthers? Who was really good? That
when they weren't supposed to be.
Yes. And if you say Mike Davis, I'm going to say you're fired because that was not.
Yeah, I guess all the big time running backs.
John Foster was okay. He was a
second round pick. I think he was second. I think he was a second round pick, man. Still like a legit pick.
That's true. We've also had a lot of really good first round running backs we drafted.
That's true.
Minus Bianca Batuka, Jonathan Stewart, Christian McCaffrey, D'Angelo Williams. Like we've hit pretty well first round drafting low. I think Jonathan Stewart was the only one that was in the 20s, wasn't he?
He's still first round. Yeah, I mean
he was first round, but he was late first round. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm telling you, we ain't ever had a good running back that won't, except for Cameron Artis-Payne, which nobody gave a fucking chance to. Is awesome. The best man.
Yeah.
All right, last call of the night, I think. Maybe we already did. Did we do this one?
Oh, what up?
What to do?
What you do, boys? It's your boy, Mike. I got ice cream later. That's so good.
What's up, man?
Been a while, boys.
What's up, my man? We missed
busy, working, chilling with the family, taking care of business. It's all good. But I got love for y'all boys. Y'all, I can't find a better place to be Tuesday night than with my boys on Three Nation.
That's what we talking about.
So I'm here.
100 people watching all night long, bro.
Whew.
Thank you.
Okay, this is what I want to talk about. My boy Cam. Okay. I'm sure y'all talked about it. I know y'all talked about it.
Somebody breathing heavy.
It's sickening to like
watch something like this and to see how the youth of the nation is acting, towards not necessarily their elders, but
this is about Cam.
Oh,
just,
yeah.
I didn't want to talk
look at it
about
this way.
Cam tonight.
Okay, I'm half black, half Korean. Okay, that's why I, took on the moniker of Supreme Leader. Not even Supreme Leader, but Supreme Leader, because
He's got to get on the metric system.
Kim Jong Un is, he's my second uncle. All right.
What?
Back to the topic. Coming from a young black male, obviously who is just misguided, in his pursuit of life, is throwing, these just disrespectful, dishonorable things on man Cam Newton, and it just sucks to see it coming from one young black male to another black man.
I agree. So heavy. Yeah.
And running out of time, boys. Peace and love. That's all I really wanted to talk about. I had to stop by and come through on y'all boys. Panther Bride till I die.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that's a burden I don't understand, right? Or not understand. I understand it, but I can't empathize with it because I don't have the burden of like when shit happens that now it's about like how black men, you know what I'm saying? Like is all of a sudden all of this is I don't have that. Fortunately, and I will be. I'm trying to be candid and honest. I just looked at him as a kid.
I did too.
Like I could see myself doing something stupid like that, caught up in the moment. It was just, and really, I mean, he was trash. The way he called him like a bum. He called him a free agent.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it was terrible, but it was like
it was.
I'm not even that upset about it. Like, I think, if anything, I thought Cam, to be honest, and I'm the big Cam supporter, as you're going to get, is that I actually thought Cam got a little bit more irritated by it not than he should have, but than he could have. Right? Like, because I would have been like, F you. I would have been coming trying to fight the kid. I ain't going to lie. I got this temper. I'm like, I wouldn't be able to. So I can tell people how to act. I don't know how to act myself. But, like, you know what I'm saying? Cam should feel good about himself. Like, you don't got to worry about this little kid chirping on the side. Like, I just didn't think it was that bad. I didn't want to talk about but go ahead, Jason. Tell me what you think on that.
Listen, man. I'm from Northside Atlanta, man. Know what I'm saying? Like, Cam Newton, that's a kid from his city, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go through all this trouble to get young black men to get on your level. You're there to give game to all these kids,
right?
To help get you where you were because you had people who helped you along the way. So, like, when it comes to his perspective, like, yeah, I do feel like he has the right to feel some type of way. Because,
sure.
That was him. Like, I feel like that was him once upon a time, and you getting like kind of trash talked and this and that and ultimately disrespected. Like, yeah, I do feel like he has a right to feel some type of way. But also, I'm also from North Atlanta, and I've been on a bunch. Well, I haven't been a part of them because I was a big fella, you know what I'm saying? But I've been to 7-on-7s before. And the banter on that sideline, man, they get disrespectful at times. And that's just how it is. That's just how it is.
Kids,
and like,
teenagers,
sometimes
just being dicks.
And like what you were saying earlier, sometimes kids are just bad as hell. Like that's how it is sometimes.
And they're not bad people, you know what I'm saying?
Not bad people. They just got caught in a bad moment. He got caught in a bad moment. And so, it's just one of those things. Like, it's an unfortunate situation, but I wish it got. I hate how much attention it got. I really do, man. I really do.
I actually don't. I mean, and look, I'm not being critical of Cam. Is that this is one? I guess I'm trying to get this point across is that we love to think of the world in this sanitary environment where but these are people being people. You know what I'm saying? People have good moments, they have bad moments. And so, like, for me to critique every moment of every reaction that Cam has to everything, like, I yelled at this lady at the stoplight over her and her driving right in front of my kids the other. Like, so I'm not trying to. I don't think we should have to defend every action as look, it's we're humans. That kid made a mistake. Cam, I didn't think Cam had to be like, I'm rich. You know what I mean? Like, I would have been like, oh, duh, you're rich. That's why I'm talking shit. But no, it's like nobody. I bet you if everybody went back to that moment, they would have wished they could have handled it better or differently. And I can do that about this podcast tomorrow, about an email I send. And so I think we should give grace and understanding to people when we can. Is my point. The thing I didn't want to talk about with Cam Newton though is this interview crap that's all coming out, and everybody's like, "I love Cam," this and that, you know, and they're like, "Look at Cam and this." And I could listen to him talk all day, and Panthers Twitter is all back on Cam. And you guys, I thought you were going to bring up this kid and all this, and I was like, man, I just don't want to talk about this girl I used to love. You know, I loved her.
But she's gone, man. But she's gone.
Like, it's just like, why do I want to sit with my wife and talk about women I've been with?
She'll be playing some Jackson 5 here in a minute.
Like, it's just
want you back.
I mean, I love God. It's just that, but I don't even want to talk about how great Cam is and his hats are awesome and how he should be a starting quarterback. I don't want to talk about it. All right. Any other news? I mean, we've been through a lot. We've exhausted the Panther discussion, I feel like. We've got Russell Okung to Bitcoin to quarterbacks and trades. So now the Panthers have got this $34 million, which is not as much as people are making it out to be. I'm telling you, $34 million goes quick. $7 million straight goes to rookies. So, like, yeah, we might be able to do something, this and that. You should be eyeballing Moten. And if Deshaun Watson comes in and falls on our lap here, actually, this is my last question for y'all, and then we're going to do our ice up picks and get the hell out of here. My last question for you is this: is if Deshaun Watson becomes a Panther, and we trade away this whatever farm it is, how are we going to do the draft show?
I had never thought about that. I hadn't thought about that one time.
This is that not only missing one draft, we're going to go into, and by the way, we're 65 days away right now from the NFL draft, and we will be doing our 9th live draft party. That's the 9th, bro. We've been, look, we started with number 1 was Benjamin, number 2 was Shaq Thompson. Number 3 was Vernon Butler. Number 4 was Christian McCaffrey. Number 5 was DJ Moore.
And that's when that was my first show ever. I came on for the show where we drafted DJ Moore. That was the first time I ever came.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Number 6 was Brian Burns. It's our 8th draft show. Yeah. Number 8 was Derek Brown, and number 9 will be no draft show because we got Deshaun Watson.
I've been thinking about it for draft tech because I write for the Panthers, obviously. So if they don't have a first or second round pick, I won't write for them. The thing is, though, I also write for the Houston Texans.
I quit.
Yeah, I also write for the fucking Houston Texans. So so it means it basically means my workload doesn't decrease at all. So
yeah. We got to do the draft show. I'm counting down the weeks and the days. 65 days to this draft show. The draft show is fun, man. We get to watch the draft. We've been doing watch parties before watch parties were a thing.
We made social distancing popular. That's right.
Straight up, yeah. Oh man, look, I don't even care about this COVID mess. I just hang out with y'all on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
We are way more than 6 feet apart, and I feel safe. All right. Ice up picks time. Ice up picks.
I sent you mine in the Twitter chat, Tony.
Okay. All right,
So
let
you
me
can
look.
share
Somebody
it.
else go so I can pull it up. Who wants to go?
Shoot, I guess I'll volunteer first.
Yeah, there you go. You can be
It might be a hot take. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but I watched that trailer for Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I'm looking at all these promos.
I already took the day off work.
I'm sorry, bro.
When is it coming out?
You don't think it looks good?
I think it's gonna be garbage, man.
Okay. Hey, everybody has their
Listen, it's like Zack Snyder's kind of okay. This might also be a hot take, but like Zack Snyder's kind of like how Cam Newton was last year. I thought that personally, for me, I thought Man of Steel was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Man of Steel was fantastic, wonderful movie. But last year's Cam season was Batman vs Superman.
Ooh, okay. That's my favorite movie.
That was and like really, oh
movie.
man.
Hey, it's all good. Hey, no, you're good though. People are allowed to think, yeah, you're good.
But like Martha, bro, like really, like that was your plot point, dude. And like it's just and like I'm seeing all this imagery stuff and like Zack Snyder being Zack Snyder, and it's all these different
4 hours
that are,
long. It's a movie,
Just
right?
do me a favor and give it a chance.
I'm gonna give it a chance.
Just give it a chance.
Hey, as a comic book reader,
Who's gonna watch a movie with 4
4
hours, bro?
Dude, Endgame was 3.5 hours. Avatar was
Endgame is
3.5
too
hours.
long, too.
Titanic was 7 hours. People will watch it if it's good.
I'll watch it. I will watch it, but I will go into it with super low expectations. So as of right now, I sub Zack Snyder. I sub.
Oh, okay. Hey, I hear you. I think you're gonna enjoy it, but we'll have to wait and see. I want to hear your opinion whenever.
I need to hop on the show, man.
Let me know, man. Definitely. Yeah, the Friday after it comes out, we'll be doing it. And
I tell you what, man, DC can't touch what Marvel's doing right now.
Yeah.
With WandaVision, bro, and the MCU, dude, shit is crazy. And by the way, Greg, that is a good idea.
WandaVision is art for me, man.
But you need to get past episode 1 and 2. Right, but you also haven't.
I understood what was going on in 1 and 2. That's the problem. Is now I'm on to the episodes that everybody says is awesome, man. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
It gets better after 3. I think. That's fourth episode.
But you're also not like you're not embedded into the Marvel films. Like this shit has been going on for 8 years. But great, but dude, especially your podcast, you should definitely do some debate shows. And by the way, you know that I'm down to come on and talk shit about Marvel versus DC.
So yeah,
let's do
I'm down. I'm down. Yeah.
All right, Greg, I got you.
All right. Well, let me walk it in real quick, and then you can start at 15 seconds, so it cuts out a little bit of it. So basically, this is I don't know if anybody heard about this. It's Oakley Union School District in California. If you're gonna do a school board conference, you need to make sure, and you're gonna do it on Zoom. You need to make sure that you're not broadcasting live publicly, so that way people can watch the school board conference, especially if you're going to say the things these people said. So I want y'all to hear some of the things they said, and then we'll talk about it.
If this is it, I hope it's it. Buffering.
Of course.
Buffering. This whole website's been jacked up.
I did see the video. It's pretty cringe.
Well, while we wait for it, basically the school board they had people that were talking a lot of trash about parents, talking about whooping their ass and stepping to them and stuff like that. There was another person who was talking about how parents were acting so crazy because they just want their babysitters back because they're tired of taking care of their kids and stuff like that. And then they realized they were live, that they were open to the public.
Oops.
And then one woman was straight up like, if these parents would ever talk that shit to me, I would beat their ass.
Yeah.
She was straight up talking about like fighting the fucking parents, and meanwhile they're listening to everything that they're saying.
So the entire school board resigned.
The entire school board
resigned.
Because the teachers were talking about beating these kids' ass?
No, it was the people on the school board that were talking about it.
All right, I can't get it to work.
It was the school board having their meeting, and they went public with it instead of keeping it private. Yeah. So to them, ice up. I've made mistakes not hitting record, and I've made mistakes leaving it on record when I shouldn't have, but never that were that bad. So
I know it's like the ultimate fear that you're going to send somebody.
I guess I'll go next, Tony. But will it let me share this if I try?
I hope so. I don't know if it gives sound. You need sound.
Yeah. Tell me if you can hear this.
Oh no, we can't hear it. But I can get this real quick.
So you can't hear it?
No.
But I gotta explain.
I am. Somebody needs to tell Shrewsbury this. Is that like y'all gotta get your? And by the way, if you guys want to fix this on your end, you just got to get voice meter. Which is what's her name again?
Don't tell him just to get voice meter. It's way more difficult than that.
Naomi Osaka. And really, this isn't an eyes up pick, but it's like every time I see this girl, I fall more and more in love with her. Mm-hmm. One, because she's like a silent assassin. Like, she's very soft spoken, and she just goes on the tennis court and whoops ass, right? She's incredible. But dude, I forget where they were. She was doing this tennis competition, and she was trying to give like kudos to the opponent that she beat. And she was like, she looked back and she was like, "Do you like to be called Jenny or Jennifer?" And then she was like, "Jenny." And then Naomi was like, "I wanted to tell you all that Jennifer did a great job." And like, it was just like so nonchalantly disrespectful, but you can tell that she didn't intend to do it.
Yeah, she didn't mean anything by it.
It's like, look, like
me or Jennifer? Jenny. Okay. Firstly, I want to congrat Jennifer.
Jennifer.
Yeah, like she's looking back at her.
You like to be called Jenny or Jennifer? Jenny. Okay. Firstly, I want to congrat Jennifer.
That's the funny. I feel like that's an honest mistake, though, man.
Oh, yeah.
No, but that's the thing. Like, I'm not even icing her up, to be honest.
Yeah, I know.
I just think it's fucking hilarious.
Like, he loves her.
I understand, bro.
I do love her, but it's also her attitude. Like, she's so badass. Like, not even on purpose. She's just like by accident, just this badass boy. And the way that she shaded her without even trying to was fucking perfect, dude. So I don't even know who I'm icing up. I guess I'll ice up that loser bitch. From now on, Jenny, you are hereby dubbed Jennifer forevermore because Naomi Osaka said so. Ice up, son.
Cody, CK, you got anything?
Man,
Sarah,
I can't think of anything.
Look, Greg, you need to go tell Sarah that she needs to just hold her chin up. Don't worry, she's the toast of the damn YouTube town.
Oh, what's wrong with Sarah?
Don't worry, girl. All right, so CK doesn't have anything. We'll ice him up for that. We'll ice him.
Oh.
Sarah Taylor, you're a total hot chick. What are you talking about? So hot.
We're supposed to say it. We're not supposed to say it. We're supposed to just talk and enjoy everybody's company. But sometimes you're like, "Dang, this one's hot."
What she said that her feelings.
I told you, Greg. Didn't I tell you? I tried to tell you.
But she said that I hurt her feelings, so I had to tell her. No, Sarah. You know.
I tell Greg. I won't.
She
tell
knows
her.
how it is.
All right. My ice up pick goes to this, and man, I hate this. Is because it's like I'm a big person of public entities, right? Like I work for the state. I love public schools. Like I love the concept of public schools. Like I think I like roads that I drive on and crap like that. So I don't like to overly cry about taxation when I get a lot of services. Right. It's like when you get services, and I, as a historian, someone who studied the revolution and stuff, is like these people are pissed off at taxation, but they didn't get anything either. right? They didn't get any services. Like, it was just like kind of throwing money towards this so-called good cause that you're never going to see. I feel like I get to see a lot of my tax money come back in services. But today, after a long-awaited, lazy time, I had this lumber at my house that like you can't just take to the little satellite dumps, right? And I also live outside the city limits. I'm a county resident, so I don't pay city taxes, but I do pay county taxes, which the dump is owned by the county. Right. So like I do pay for usage of the dump in my tax money, but I can't just throw like a couch on the side of the road and they come pick it up. Like I got to take it where I live at. So there's and they have like these cool little satellite dumps that take most stuff. But if it's lumber, like if it's just like a door or a piece of wood, they will not take it. So you got to go to the big dump, which is way on the other side of town, which is not far in Greenville. Way on the other side of the town is not far in Greenville, but it's still like a pain in the ass. So I've had all this lumber sitting in my truck for like weeks, bro. It's been raining. I'm like, I'm not going to take it. I don't want to take it. It's all, man. Like, so I just let it sit there. I work from home. I haven't been driving my truck. I've like the 3 times I drive my kids are embarrassed. I got like all this wood like hanging out the back and shit. So I take it to the dump today, which is cool. And like, it was super easy. Everything was nice. But when you leave, like you have to pay by the weight. And I gotta say this is like I dropped off like a half a truck bed of just random shit from my garage. Just like random wood. I do woodworking and stuff. So it was like just kind of this random shit that like it just can't be used. This shit cost me $9.90. And I know you're like, oh, $9.90, whatever. But like I don't ever go to the dump. Like I have to pay a private trash company to come to pick my trash up, but I'm still a taxpayer of the dump. Like I pay taxes. Like you can see it on your yearly tax statement. It says $78 I paid to the dump to use the dump. I never use the fucking dump, but when I do, I still got to pay $10 to do it. So I just feel like this double taxation is where we got to look at as Americans. It's not taxation, but like this double and triple taxation. And like, why can't I just show them my card that says I live in the county and I'm not a contractor? I'm not dropping off like this house that I ripped down. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just some shit from my garage and it cost me $10. So to double taxation, I say ice up. That's the libertarian.
I agree.
I should have just burned the shit. You know what? Ice up to me. I should have just burnt the shit, but I would have done that if it wouldn't have rained for the last 70 days.
And it's only going to rain for 10 more.
I should have saved the wood to build an ark.
Yeah.
At the end of every fall, I have a neighbor that lives across from me. I think he's from Scotland or something. But dude, he burns all these leaves in his backyard. And it stinks so fucking bad, dude.
I don't like to do it for my note. Yeah, it doesn't help anybody. But
it's so bad.
That's the C3 Panthers podcast. My name's Tony Dunn. You can follow me on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. Over 100 people watched the entire night. We just hit the 70s over the last 15 minutes. Man, I tell you this, is you guys are fun to hang out with on this panel as well in this chat room. I appreciate every single person that was on the show tonight and in the chat room, listen on Facebook, Periscope, YouTube. You guys are the greatest. I tell you, you guys, people send me email. I got an email from England last week. Man, like, it's just nice that my friends are right here. And I tell you this, it's made my pandemic a lot easier that I get to hang out with my best buddies on Tuesday. And I barely see you guys in proximity, but I'm closer to y'all than half of my life, man. So I appreciate everybody here. I appreciate it. Give me a follow, subscribe. Jason Hewitt, man, we appreciate you for coming on tonight. Even though you got berated by the internet, you shouldn't have. And it was Teddy's burner. I'll say it.
You said it. You said it, man. You said
Thank
it.
you. Thanks for coming on the show, man. We appreciate your insight, man. Where can they find your work at?
All right, so you can find my work at si.com/NFL/Panthers. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at SI_Panthers and follow my personal Twitter at Jason Hewitt 50. And based on, everything that was said today, my account's pretty lit. So give me that follow. Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all, man.
I'm going to create an account. I'm going to start liking these random like Itifa or Antifa tweets and all of this and that. And then I'm going to follow you and start trolling you and see if you can find me back. Like if you can.
Should be fun.
Back. He can do it. He can do it. All right, man. We appreciate it. Greg, the Bat Daddy, the man of many podcasts. How can they find your work?
Just like that, at the Bat Daddy 52 on Twitter. Check out. You can find me there, and you can find everything else I'm on. The Geek Ultimate Alliance Networks, where all the shows are at. Other than this one, just come check me out. I'm live at least 3 or 4 days a week. So
CK is not playing as much Call of Duty, but still streaming like crazy. What are the new games that are people into?
So this new game called Valheim is actually really fun. It's an RPG, and it's a good little game. And Escape from Tarkov, as I talked about a couple of times as well. But Saturday I will be in a tournament on Call of Duty. That is Jeff Leach's tournament, so that'll be fun. So you guys tune in. I'm on Facebook Gaming at Codizzle Allen is my username.
Oh, big time news! I know you like or you've drank. I've seen you drink Bang energy drinks before. Like they're the only ones that I kind of like.
Yeah.
Right. Like I like the Frasse, Rose, or Rose one. That one's good.
Don't you tell me anything bad.
What's that?
Don't tell me anything bad.
No, I'm gonna tell you something good. I like the sour air ones. That's all right. But bro, that Miami Cola
garbage.
No, I love
hate it, bro.
Oh my god, no, I'm totally the other way. I thought it's my favorite one. All right,
try the key lime. Try the key lime. It's by far.
Hey man, too sweet. I don't like them too sweet.
Did you try it?
Sour heads. Yeah, I've had it. I like the sour head one. I like the Frasse, Rose, the Raz with the blue Raz or whatever's all right.
Yeah.
But the Miami Cola is my joint. All right, Cody Lash, where can they find you?
Yeah, man. Find me on Twitter
birthday
at Cody
boy.
Lash.
Birthday boy. Happy birthday.
Yeah, was my birthday.
Hey.
Yeah, man. 31 years young.
Dear Cody. We'll die on that hill with you.
Hey, yeah, there we go. But yeah, no, if you really want to wish me a happy birthday, go check out Draft Tech tomorrow. I'm writing more for Draft Tech than I ever have. I wrote the first pick for the Jaguars. I wrote 2 picks for the Houston Texans, and I wrote 2 picks for the Panthers. So your boy's out here getting it, and we're gonna do some more content here on this channel.
Next week, who we got?
We're bringing. Yeah, man, we're going to talk about a few different players, but I think we're going to start with Richard Grant first.
Thank you.
Because, we need some safety help. And, we're all going to talk about quarterbacks at some point, so I'll save that for a little bit later on. I kind of want to show people some prospects that the Panthers might be realistically looking to target in the 2nd or 3rd round before we start to do comprehensive deep dives on these quarterbacks. But I wrote about 3 of the top 4 quarterbacks taken in the draft, and that's on Draft Tech tomorrow. So check me out.
Yes, sir.
All right, wonderful, man. Thanks to the guys and the callers tonight. It was wonderful, Chuck. We had some great callers tonight. We had Blake Bettis was fantastic. G. Cavassier is there. You guys keep calling in 252-228-5098. Smash the thumbs up. Subscribe. It's free. That's it. Just be a part of it. Have fun. Talk shit. It's all right. Don't tell my mama said that. Good night.
Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
Keep pounding, man.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. You could turn $10 into $250. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/fan and use code FAN. That's code FAN at prizepicks.com/fan.
Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.